going on because, sure, why the fuck not? Oh, it is? Okay, thanks for letting me know, G. I didn't realize the music was super loud. Damn, maybe I should say all that, like, again. Okay, I guess we're not gonna have music because I can't figure out how to sound mix. Oops, sorry about that, lads. Um, so you already know how it is. The tiers, they look normal. You know how they be. We got the tiers. You know what they do. Except for this one, Hair Club for Mons. Because a lot of Generation 4 Pokemon have, like, weird fucking hairdos, and I don't know why, and it makes me like them significantly less. Then we have F, which are just Pokemon that are just bad and I hate them. Then we have Problematic. That used to be the racist tier, but we're gonna start getting Pokemon that I hate for different reasons that, like, are neighbors to racist. Like, the sex Pokemon. You know, oh shit, I wasn't supposed to sit on YouTube. You know, whatever, I don't care. This isn't my job. And new form, because Pokemon spell shit with an E. I don't know if Pokemon games still spell form with an E, but there we go. They used to for a long time. I realized that there are a lot of Pokemon with alternative forms, and I thought I was just gonna do that once I've gotten all the regular Pokemon, but I think I'll just handle like the generations 1 through 5 additional forms once I finish up Generation 5. Maybe that's, or, you know, maybe I'll do that next week. I don't know, because I don't think Generation 5 has any other ones. Well, let's go. Let's look at these Pokemon. They're just based on how I feel about them, which is objectively correct, hence the name. Not necessarily how good they are in the game, but I'm sure those two things will be related at some point, because I'm playing the video game, which affects how I feel about them. So first up, we got Turtwig. That dude's pretty cool. He's a little guy. I actually like him quite a bit. He has a big old head. This is where Pokemon stop, I guess, getting, you know, very animalistic. And they start having more human-y expressions, and I'm not a fan of that. Like my Pokemon are, you know, they're pets. They're not necessarily like my personal friend. You know what I mean? Some people tend to differ with that, but, you know, that's just me. My relationship with Pokemon is similar to my relationship with my cat, right? So I don't necessarily like that a lot of these guys have kind of built-in personalities, because it makes them, you know, some of them have a harder time expressing, you know what I mean? Because they have built-in personalities. But I do generally like Turtwig. I have no issue with Turtwig. He's really cute, and I love him and will die for him. Um, Now we have the beginning of the end of the good starters. Um, Shit, what's this middle one's name? It's not Grovat. No, it's Well, damn. See, you can tell this is like where I stop having nostalgia, because I can't quite remember all their names. Like, I'm sure if I stopped streaming for like literally 30 seconds, the name would instantly manifest inside of my head. Um, but, you know, this guy, he looks kind of dorky. And this is one of the few dorky middle evolutions that I like well enough. He looks like a tough little dude. He looks like he's in his awkward teenage years, but he looks like he knows he's gonna be cool later. I think this is a fat kid who thinks he's gonna come into his own being a cool dude, like a cool hot topic guy, but in reality, he's actually gonna become like a big old bear, like a, you know, like a big old gay dude, and like he's gonna wear button up shirts and, you know, all that shit. Wear like a Bass Pro hat, and everyone loves him. And I like Torterra quite a bit. Torterra's really good. He's a good dude. That guy's pretty awesome. I like the color scheme on him. He has a very naturey green to him. He has a bonsai tree on his back. He's an island turtle, much like my favorite books, Discworld. So that's pretty good. I do have the music off, right? Yeah, I do. Okay, that's fine. That guy's pretty good. I like his color scheme. I like the white on his shell and feet. They gave me a kind of ivory vibe. and it just makes a very nice contrast with like the more soil colored brown of its actual skin. Um, that's pretty good. It's a good Pokemon. I don't know about his head. I don't know about those side spikes, but I'm not gonna let that ruin a pretty good Pokemon. Um, then there's Chimchar. So I'm not gonna act like Chimchar's not cute, but he has like a dookie on his head. Um, I know it's supposed to be fire, but he has a dookie on his head. That like his head looks like the cartoon like anime cartoon turd. So he's going in T and C for that one. He's definitely not the worst, right? Like this is about the point to where we can't take it as a given that the starter is gonna be pretty solid anymore, right? Um, and then there's a Monferno. I actually don't really like Monferno too much. So he has a much more pronounced tail situation, as an evolution from Chimchar. Like he does have like a tail as well, but now it's long. But also the flame on it is long too. It's longer than Charmeleon's, and that gives him some sort of Charmeleon energy. And this is about the point in Pokemon, although we're really gonna see this in Generation 5, where we start seeing a lot of soft reboots of Pokemon, and this is a soft reboot of Charmeleon. But as a lot of Pokemon does when it comes to soft reboots, it just works in the original. It just works Charmeleon. He almost gets there, but he has that little blue thing on his fucking head, and I hate that. Now I do understand why he has that. It's because he's a baboon, and baboons do have that going on. But also, I hate that on baboons too. So I don't know. Maybe there was something that they could have did to like make it more of a propane motif. That might be cool, but um, okay, yeah, I guess he'll be the king of D. Um, yeah, that seems no, he'll be like low C. That makes sense. Okay, and now we have Infernape. Infernape is actually really sick. So he's like a Song Wukong Pokemon. That's really good. He doesn't look too much like literally Son Goku from Dragon Ball Z. Um, I kind of wish he had the compliance rod or whatever it's called. But I know that it's kind of Pokemon kind of shies away from Pokemon that use tools. Like they have them sometimes, like Farfetch'd and Girder, but they like to really shy away from Pokemon that have like overt objects that they use. But I think that would have been pretty appropriate for Monferno. It's also not that I want to make my feelings on their usability as Pokemon too much of a thing, but much like Goku, who's the strongest motherfucker in the game. Like, he's literally the best Pokemon in the game. Like, he's not, my favorite of the starters. Actually, he might be my least favorite. But, he's a pretty good guy, and I respect him quite a bit. I don't have any firefighting memes just yet. Like, this is the second firefighting meme in a row. I feel like this one is pretty inspired, so I'm basically letting this one pass. It's pretty good. Actually, let me move Torterra higher. Monferno higher too. Okay, and now for Piplup. Piplup is great. There's no, there's no doubt about that. Piplup pretty good. I saw this post by this artist named Toya, who does I was gonna say pretty good, but maybe they just do art. I mean, better than my art, but a lot of their stuff looks very sameish, right? And the post was like top 4 Pokemon with the most slappable heads, and it was like Chansey, Piplup, and like 2 other bald Pokemon. So Piplup has a very slappable head. It's very cute. Has those animalistic eyes that I like. He looks like a little stuffed animal. He has like little flappy wings. It's really good. This is a strong start. So, and sometimes for Pokemon, I feel like they're trying to aim at an average, right? So if Piplup is like an easy S, like an easy S, like this is easily right up there with iconic Gen 1 and 2 dudes, right? And then there's Piplup. gotta be one of the worst, one of the most hideous looking Pokemon I've ever seen. Look at this dude. This dude looks like a fucking nerd. Like, he just looks like an idiot. Like, okay. So, in a lot of Pokemon games, you end the game probably around level 40, 45. So, your starter has reached its fully evolved form probably about the time you get your last badge, or, somewhere in that range, right? And it's probably turned into its second form for, maybe shortly after the first badge, or, around the second badge, right? That is most of the game. You are looking at this horrible thing. And that's just an embarrassment. Who is this for? Who is this for? I should have had a soundboard where I can play that clip of everybody going, "Ah, oh, come on, man. Who invited this dude?" You know the meme. This guy really sucks. Which is a shame, because Porylion is probably my favorite of these fellas, too. Which is a lot. These guys are really good. They're as a team, they're all really big, buff ass, Chad Pokemon. So no matter who you pick, you can't go wrong. They all kind of have, the same average overall, as far as their evolved forms, but the route to getting them is, it's fraught with perils. Let me put it like that, right? Okay, so now we're up to Starly, the bird guy. So these are all going in the hair club for Mon, all three of them. But not quite in that order. Yeah, that seems about right. Usually I don't put them all in the same spot like that usually, or at the same time, but I think that's justified. So Starly is just a bird, and usually I like the just a Pokemon, I guess, but something about its eyes and the white on its face makes it look a little bit clown-like to me, and I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that, right? Staravia sounds like a moron in the anime, and I just can't get over that. It has this big ridiculous Staravia, that kind of thing going on with this long rolled R. I don't know if I should count that in its favor or against it, because I think I did that with Victory Bell, who just screams. It just screams at you. So I don't necessarily know if I want to stick around with that dude. But he just has a dumb looking haircut. I think if he got a haircut, he would just go and see, for being, just a bird, just Pidgeotto at home. But for now, that's where he's going. He's staying right there in the hair club for Mons. Staravia is, I actually like it quite a bit, actually. I think because so many of its sprite this is one of the very, very few Pokemon that probably benefit from being in 3D, because when you just see its sprites, it just looks like a big chicken. And in action, it looks a little bit more exciting, but meanwhile, I guess if you really want to squint really hard, it could be like an anime Bokuzoku guy with the big old pompadour, right? But I think that might be stretching it a little bit. I think it's supposed to be a little bit of a comb over situation, or it's got the fucking side, it's got the side bob and high top fade, you know what I mean? Which, I mean, I guess I have that too, but I don't know. I don't like it when Staravia does it, or Staraptor rather. So I'm not thrilled with him, but he's okay. If he also, had a less looking haircut, he'd probably honestly go in B, but there we go. Bidoof is amazing. Bidoof is the easy S. It's a super cute little dude. I could elaborate on why Bidoof is one of the best Pokemon. And if I was a memer, I'd just say they made a whole Rickroll video for Bidoof Day in 2021, I believe. But I will keep it at this. So in Pokemon Legends Arceus, you can sneak up on Bidoof, and by sneak up I mean walk directly behind it, and just bean it in the butt with a Pokeball. And its butt has jiggle physics, and it's super cute, and probably one of the most satisfying things in a video game, to just like bean it in the back of the butt with a Pokeball, and it's really cute. So Bidoof is pretty good. I wonder if the name Doof, implying that it's stupid, kind of rub people the wrong way about it, because I don't think in lore Bidoof is an especially stupid Pokemon. Like, I think he's just a silly, just a silly little fat guy. He's just, just a little dude. And probably the name Doofus kind of made people think, oh, okay, this guy's just some moron, right? So, yeah, Bidoof is pretty good. Don't let the propaganda fool you. Don't let Team Plasma lead you astray. Bidoof is the way and the truth and the light and all that good stuff. Just totally ignoring all the Bidoof memes about him being God and stuff. He's a really cute little dude, and I love him very much. I don't love Bibarel as much though, but he's pretty good. Actually, we can put Bibarel in A. And it's not really that I like Bibarel so much, because I actually don't really like Bibarel, but I like what Bibarel is. It's a Bidoof, but big. He's the big boss now. He knows what he's doing. Big Mama Bibarel has a whole litter of little Bidoofs and stuff. I don't know if I like the mask. I really don't know if I like the human eyes. In fact, actually, I may have talked myself out of giving it an A, actually. Yeah. No, now I'm looking at its eyes. I don't know. No. This is another Pokemon that's, much cuter in 3D. And I think a lot of these Pokemon I actually might like a little bit more because of Legends Arceus, where I kind of see them in their natural environment, and Bidoof or Bibarel kind of has the tendencies of like a bear. And something about that is just kind of cute, I guess, like a bear, but stupider, I guess. That's pretty good. Kricketune, or Kricketot. So I didn't know what Kricketot and Kricketune were supposed to be until I was like an adult. So obviously Kricketot is a tater tot. But it's supposed to be like a little maestro guy too, or like maybe a violin or something, but it looks hideous. The same is true for Kricketune, who has a big mustache, and I don't like when Pokemon have like big mustaches. I don't like it. Let me just rate these dudes one at a time. Okay, so Kricketot is like just goes in like, I guess, the hair clip for Mons. Oh, good. All my starters, final evos are Yeah. These guys are great. Yeah, like the Gen 4 starters. Maple Girl, they're great. That's some top tier stuff right there. Really good. Now the route again to getting them is a little questionable. The one reason I don't usually pick Piplup is because I have to spend most of the game looking at Prinplup, not Piplup and Empoleon. And the same is kind of true of Chimchar as well. But I generally don't, find any of Turtwig's evolutions especially offensive, which is a shame because actually, I kind of like, the other two, in their own special way. I think I have stronger feelings about the other two, but, Torterra has, like, the strongest middle reaction. But yeah, these boys are pretty good, but the path to getting them is fraught with troubles. But yeah, back to Pokemon that suck. Kricketune is a Pokemon for somebody, and I don't know who. Now it's a Pokemon where, like, I'm not joking. I literally do think this is a Pokemon for someone. Someone out there is a big Kricketune fan, but if they're out there, I haven't met them. And when I say that, I mean that there are some Pokemon out there where I'm convinced that they don't have any fans, or maybe they have like one or two people who like them, I guess, as like a meme, like Pampor, for example. um, I was gonna say all the monkeys, but I think Simisear has gotten like a little bit more popular over the years since it came out. They're like, oh, this is the least popular Pokemon. So everyone said, now hold on a minute, this guy is actually okay. And I said the same thing for Simisage because he has like a big, a big anime pompadour and he's giving you a thumbs up. So he got bumped up a little bit, but Pampor is pretty bad and has no fans, and Kricketune feels kind of similar to that. He wasn't Arceus. He was supposed to be the introduction to Alpha Pokemon, but this guy's a beta. So, all right, now to get canceled. I don't like Shinx. I don't think Shinx is very good. He's a little too cool. Actually, no, Shinx is actually fine. Shinx is okay. So Shinx is actually quite cute. I like the color choice on Shinx. It's pretty good. I think they did try to make him just a little too cool, and I'm not sure if I like when Pokemon try to be cool. Like, usually that has honestly the opposite effect on me, especially, depending on the Pokemon, I guess. I'm not sure if the thing on its tail is supposed to be a pinwheel or not, but it does have this, oh damn, what's that manga called? Jungle Emperor Leo vibe to it that I actually quite like. So that's cool. I like when Pokemon are, basically anime references. He looks like Kemba the White Lion, except for that he's blue and black, I guess. So that's pretty good. I think this has been light on facts so far, so here you go. You probably saw Kimba the White Lion and said, you just dead ass ripped off the Lion King, like word for word, like line for line. You just traced that boy. And I can't really speak for the anime. I get the feeling that's probably true. But the manga is a totally different beast, pun intended. Where the first half of it is Leo or Kimba, being kidnapped from Africa and trying to get back home, I guess. But he's he's been not Americanized, but humanized. He smells like humans, believing in human culture and all this stuff. So he has a hard time getting into the King of Lions groove of things, right? And then when he gets there, he introduces all the animals to capitalism and human society and stuff. I don't know how it ends. I didn't finish it, but there you go. Also, there are some super racist black people in there too. So there you go. If there are any racists who are interesting, I think I might want to get in on that. Speaking of things that I don't think I'd want to get in on, is Luxio. I don't know. This is Shinx gone wrong. His face looks a little too rat-like. With Shinx, I can let it go because he's supposed to be a weak little dude, right? So he looks like a meek little guy who one day will become very brave. But this one just looks like a big rat to me, and in a bad way, like a rat dog. And I don't like its red nose. He looks like he's trying to be a little too cool, a little bit too edgy, and a lot of Pokemon kind of fall into that for me. And the same is sort of true for Luxio. I know a lot of people really love Luxio, but I just don't. It just looks a little too cool to me. And I know I said, game functionality shouldn't count too much in this kind of thing, but I think I'm just so used to seeing very specifically Luxio and Staraptor that, I don't know, I just don't like it. I think if this was an innocuous Pokemon hanging out in a generation that no one really likes and was kind of like a mid-game fella, maybe I'd like it more. I still don't like its giant rat ears, though. I still do enjoy that it has way more black and blue than yellow. Yeah, exactly. Luxio's the awkward teenage phase. We're gonna see a lot of awkward teenage Pokemon. I can't believe I got through describing Prinplup without saying awkward teen. Prinplup was actually the Pokemon that tipped me off to awkward teen Pokemon. There we go. That guy's okay. He's okay. Like, I don't hate him. He's not a bad Pokemon. Like, for a Pokemon that's supposed to be cool that rubbed me the wrong way, this is actually a pretty good rating, because I'm gonna have some words for Lucario. Just spoilers now. Budew is pretty cute. I don't really have any, super strong thoughts on Budew. But it's very cute. It feels like a modern day rendition on like Oddish, I guess. Uh, I like its eyes are always kind of closed. It's always smiling. Um, so apparently the bud on its head, it could just separate that and turn it into hands, I guess. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't think I like that. I think that may be stopping it from getting an S, but and I don't know why they felt the need to give Roselia, of all Pokemon, a baby form. In fact, I don't really think there's ever been a Pokemon that like got a baby form where I was saying, "Oh yeah, finally." And get this, to this day, no, no baby Kangaskhan form, which is, it seems like such an odd thing. Like, if no Pokemon got a baby form, then that would make sense. But if all these other Pokemon get baby forms and like Roselia or the one, that one gets one. I don't know. That seems kind of weird, but for what it is, I do like it. I guess it makes sense that like a rose does have a budding form, so that's cool. I like the way it looks like a little basket too. That's pretty good. Okay, Roserade. Um, Roserade goes pretty high because while it does, it's trying to look like a cool dude Pokemon, right? And it's also another very gendered Pokemon that usually I wouldn't be a fan of. But for both of these things, and this may be I'm a more masculine presenting individual. But this one doesn't really seem like it's for like the straight dudes. So there's some artistic merit in what it is. Like it looks like it's trying to be like this Lupin like figure, like a very duelist kind of character, like a very human like and like very cool kind of character, but it's not really trying to be sexy in the way that like Gardevoir or like Lopunny are. Like it like come on, it has a it has a butch cut. So that's pretty cool, I guess. It has three colors of roses. I always kind of get the feeling that the roses are gonna have like a sword pop out of them, but that never happens, which is unfortunate. It has a cape that's pretty sick. Um, I wish I liked this Pokemon more though. And I don't like the way its mask kind of attaches to its neck, and it leaves its mouth part exposed, so it almost looks more like a 5 o'clock shadow. Like, I know it's supposed to be more like a Batman situation where the mouth is exposed and the rest of it is covered up, but it just looks like a 5 o'clock shadow, especially with its like big old hair situation going on. It looks kind of weird, but I basically respect what Roserade is. It's not a Pokemon for me, but that's okay. I can still appreciate Pokemon that are not necessarily for me. Part of me which wishes it was like bigger, taller though. But maybe that would make it a little bit more of the human thing that I really hate. So, I guess Roserade is pretty good. Actually, I think I like it quite a bit more than Barrel. Actually, um, I think it's probably gonna end up being in like lower B. Oh, and I also like that it has like the red and blue situation going on for the roses. I'm happy they didn't just pick one rose. It's actually a quality I like about Roselia too. And then there are these eggheads. I'm trying to decide if I want to put them in the hair clip for Mons. No, it's cool that it took them like this long to make a dinosaur Pokemon, even if they have like a bunch of fossil Pokemons, and they didn't just immediately jump to like a T-Rex. So that's actually pretty cool. I like his color choice. I like he's a big old dumb egghead. I like that he's a goth. That's pretty fun. Rampardos is also a goth too, so that's pretty good. And that kind of goes back to the thing that I tend to like quite a bit. It's going to be a golden rule for people who've never sat in on one of these tier lists before. If the Pokemon could be increased to 100 feet tall, would they make for a good kaiju? And if the answer is yes, then it's probably going to go an S. So, there we go. Cranidos and Rampardos are pretty good. I hope that they're smart Pokemon, but I don't think they are. What's this little dude's called? It's not Bastiodon. That's the evolution. I don't know, but he's definitely going to the hair club for Mons. I don't know, he has a weird haircut. He should go get that taken care of. I want to have stronger thoughts on him, but he just has a weird head. And he should just go get a haircut. He should stop that. And then Bastiodon. Bastiodon is pretty good. Again, if it's 50 feet tall, it's a winner to me. He's a bit of an ugly. But I like that its head is a fortress. Its head has little windows. It has like a little castle motif going on, and that's pretty good. It's a rampart, and creates a nice parallel with Bastiodon has a nice parallel with Rampardos, because Rampardos is a Pokemon that runs at you and tackles you with its giant head, right? And Bastiodon is one that defends, I guess. Now it is Pokemon, so attack is just going to be inherently a better stat than defense. But I like that they kind of parallel each other. And again, we have two dinosaur Pokemon, but we're not taking the most obvious route yet. I don't think we'll get that until I don't know, generation 7 or 8, I think. Actually, no, I think it's generation 6. Now we have the Wormy line. These are bagworms. Actually, no, no, they have beaks. They have beaks. I hate that they have beaks. I really don't like that. So Wormy's grass form is the least offensive. I'm basically okay with that. I'm sure... Yeah, this is fine. The hair in question is the part at the top, not the coat that it has. So these little dudes do have a form without a bag on it, and you see it in the anime. And I hate it. Much like actual bagworms, it's actually pretty cool. Only the females just remain bagworms, I guess, and the males become moths, which is pretty fun. I believe the trash coat, which is a steel type, it's pink because that's supposed to be what's that stuff called? What's that stuff called? That's in between walls. It's like pink stuff. That's supposed to be fire resistant. I could just check, but I don't want to. It's supposed to be that stuff, and I guess that's cool, but why is it a steel type, right? I appreciate that there is a dirt cloak form, I guess, but I don't know. These Pokemon feel like they were a little bit overbaked. They tried to get a little bit too cute with it, and just kind of yeah, I'm not a fan, and I really hate their beaks too. Moth it's a little better. Not that much better, though. Well, the grass form is a little bit better, I guess. The other... Yeah, insulation. Thank you. Yeah, it's supposed to be insulation. For some reason, I wanted to say insolent. Hold on one sec. Be right back. Okay, sorry. I had very important work emails I'm going to continue ignoring until tomorrow. So, what's this Pokemon called? Wormadam? Wormadam. Wormadam is... I still don't like it, but I do like the grass coat the most. It looks the most organic. I like that it sprouts flowers on it. The other two, I just don't like. Frankly, they just look gross. I think that's all I can really say, is that they just kind of look gross to me. But then, there's my boy, a Mothim. Mothim's pretty cute. I like Mothim. I like its shiny form. It looks like a little tokusatsu guy. I mean, the truth is probably more so that tokusatsu guys look like moths, and Mothim is a moth, so it looks like a tokusatsu guy. But I like the way its wings kind of are. Like, I like the very pronounced shape of them. I like the consistent coloration to them. He looks like a little dude ready for action, and I think that's very cute. Really saved a Pokemon that was pretty bad. Yeah, so why is insulation a steel thing? Like, that's not made of metal, right? I think, again, Game Freak tried to get a little bit too cute with this line, where, you know, you probably could have just gotten away with making, like, a metal bagworm Pokemon and just calling it a day with, like, scraps of metal. But also, it's kind of hideous. So, you know, there we go. Then there's Combee. Combee is cute. Combee is pretty good. I like Combee. Just three happy little dudes. I think this looks like an Adventure Time character, and I actually quite like Adventure Time. So that guy's pretty cute. There are three of them. I think this is gonna be like the last triple Pokemon we see for like a very long time. No, that's not true. I think every generation does have like at least one. But it's very cute. So I'm gonna open a drink real quick. I hope it doesn't pick up on the camera or on the microphone. It's probably super loud. Oh, also, just go ahead and like the video. Did you know if you like it, you'll see it update in real time? It's pretty good. You should do that. Yeah, this guy's pretty cute. Only the female can evolve, so that would normally be okay. I understand that in real life, male bees, actually not super common. You don't really see too many of them, but I think they're usually quite a bit bigger than their female counterparts. Actually, I've read somewhere that female bees might actually be a little bit of a misnomer, where the only real female is probably the queen, and the workers are sort of their own worker gender that just has the most in common biologically with females. So there we go. They don't reproduce. Well, I don't know how much merit that has to it, but thinks of his oh, it's fiberglass, but there's no real way to represent glass, thread, and plastic on a type chart. You know, I think I might represent like glass, thread, and plastic as like, honestly, maybe a normal type. I guess if we were going to do it now, you might even make this Pokemon like a fairy type. If you want to get lazy, just, oh yeah, it's pink, yeah, just make it a fairy, no problem. Which is, you know, basically the first wave of fairies, but we'll get there when we get there. It is kind of weird that, you know, for a Pokemon that's made out of like insulin, it's like quad weak to fire. Oops. So another issue for Wormadam and company. All right, Vespiquen is really cool. She's the big lady in charge. That's pretty cool. Actually, no. She's like a big old boss Pokemon. She's like a big boss auntie. And that's pretty cool. She's like tall, I guess. She has like her own signature moves, like Attack Order and Defend Order. She's bossing around these dumbass Combees all day. While the process of getting one of these is a huge headache, because, you know, Combee is one of those Pokemon where, like, most of them are going to be female, or most of them are going to be male, so they can't evolve, which is annoying because I like doing like little Nuzlocke and stuff. Once you actually get there, it's actually pretty cool. Like a very regal looking Pokemon. I appreciate that she's very obviously a queen bee, but they have the resistance reservation, the ability to not act on impulse and give her a little crown. Like she has a little hat, and that's pretty good. She has little wings, and that's also pretty good. But she doesn't have a literal crown. She is another human shaped Pokemon, which I'm not really that big a fan of, but she's like very obviously monstrous, and again, she passes the 50-foot. It's weird that I'm gendering Pokemon. These creatures don't have a concept of gender. Like, they have sexes, sure, but they don't. Pokemon don't live in a society. They don't care. Uh, yeah, she gives me, maybe not necessarily normal monster vibes, but very big, like, Rita Repulsa vibes, where she's the one sending the monsters. Maybe at the end, when there are no more monsters left to be sent, she joins the fray herself, I guess. So that's pretty cool. I like her quite a bit. She's really good. There's Pachirisu. I forgot about this one. No. It's been a while since we had a Pokemon, and we got Pikachu at home. We got Pikachu at home. There's so many Pikachus that we have at home that I forgot that I need to make a tier for these. Yeah, we got Pikachu at home. Among the Pikachus at home, I don't hate this one as much. It's probably because it has like a blue color palette. That's fun. I like the idea of Pokemon like Pachirisu are, in some way related to Pikachu, but not necessarily part of the same family. But sometimes it does feel a little corporate and cynically. Like, not every generation necessarily has to have, like, a Pikachu at home. But this is definitely one of them. I gotta say, this is one of the Pikachu at homes of all time. One of them. Then we got Buizel. Buizel's pretty good. First off, that name is fun to say. Buizel. Buizel. Go ahead, say it out loud right now. Buizel. Weasel. Buoy. Buizel. I like that it has a buoy around its head. That's pretty good. I like how it has two tails. I like how it has like a little sack shape to it. I don't really know how else to describe this little thing. He looks like a cute little dude ready to go. This is really pushing it on Pokemon that are supposed to look cool. But, I think he's pretty good. He's a cute little dude. He's ready to work. Actually, he's going an A. But low A, though. Don't worry. He's pretty good. Then there's Floatzel. Floatzel... It's okay. Floatzel's fine. We're getting to the point now where I think, to be perfectly honest with you, this is going to sound really bad. This is going to sound like some Gen 1 or shit right here. I think a Gen 4B... It's like a Generation 1D. Yeah, it seems about right. There's something about him that feels homophobic. And I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is about this guy that I don't like. It feels like he here. Let me try this. Let me take this from the top. This feels like a Pokemon who was featured in a 2004 Comedy Central cartoon. And this is the stereotypical gay one who goes, "Hey guys, it's me, Floatzel." I can't really do a good stereotypical gay impression. Which is weird. Some of my friends come out of the closet and they're just already, they just snap with the lisp. Me? Oh, I don't know. I'm just doing this, but now I have now a bunch of button-ups have just manifested in my closet, I guess. I think it is the face. I didn't think a Pokemon could have a homophobic face, but I don't know. Maybe if the queer community reclaimed Floatzel as our own, then it would probably go in S tier. But I don't think that's happening. I think we all kind of agree, all us gays and queers and stuff, have all agreed that Floatzel kind of sucks. So it's just going in B. I don't like how it has the what's that horrible meme called? The hentai meme, the uterus tattoo thing that I hate. I don't like how it has that. It does have two tails though, much like my good friend Miles Tails Prower. By the way, I was a grown man or grown adult when I realized that Miles Tails Prower is supposed to be a pun. Miles Prower, like miles per hour. Which kind of makes me wonder. So all of Sonic's buddies are fast. It's like in the game, right? Why are they all fast? Like, I accept that Sonic is fast, but you ever see Tails move? Tails is pretty goddamn fast. So that leaves me with asking a lot of questions about the nature of Sonic. Charm is pretty good. Yeah, this is another double Pokemon. I guess it's okay. I like it about as much as Rosebraid. I don't know if I have that much to say. It's just a cute little 2 Pokemon. So some of these Pokemon, especially going forward, I don't like to say, oh, they ran out of ideas, because I don't think that's true. Like, how many Mothman Pokemon do we have besides Mothim? How many, like, Bigfoot Pokemon do we have? How many, like, well, we have one trained Pokemon, but how many, like, I didn't have to guess what this thing was trained Pokemon do we have? Actually, I hate the color. I'm gonna just turn this different shade of gray, if you don't mind. Yeah, like, there are so many Pokemon that we don't have. I refuse to believe that Nintendo has run out of ideas. There are enough ideas to last for the rest of time. What if there was Bulbasaur, but it's a pumpkin? What if there was a Bulbasaur, but it's an onion, right? Like, we can make up Pokemon for the rest of all of time, and that's okay. But the thing about some of these guys, and I think Cherim is one of them, is, not every Pokemon has to be good. In fact, not every Pokemon is supposed to be good. Yeah, I'm actually going to change the color on this too. This is to represent, like, in the spirit of Jinx. Not every Pokemon is supposed to be that good, and that's how I feel about Cherubi. It's okay. It does its job. We're starting to get to a point where not every Pokemon is going to be iconic. Some of them just exist to do their job. They clock in, they clock out, just like us, honest, hard-working Joes, right? That's what Cherubi is. And then we have this duo. Well, they're the same Pokemon of Cherim. So there's no point of even hiding it. Like, I love Cherim. This little thing is so goddamn cute. Creeps you out, huh? I'm not gonna lie, you saying that Cherubi creeps you out, Gladys, makes me actually want to drop it a little bit lower. In fact, you know what? Actually, on second thought, there we go. I think it is it the dead eyes. I think it might be the dead eyes. Um, uh, I should probably figure out how to make the comments show up on the thing. I didn't expect people to actually be in the chat. Um, yeah. So where do I put Yeah. So this thing is so goddamn cute, and I just love it. And I really like it when the cute Pokemon are evolved. Like it has all of the cute shape, the shapes of a stage 1 Pokemon, but all the superfluous details of a fully evolved Pokemon. That's probably why I like things like a Clefable, for example. I really wish this. I also like it's a cherry blossom. That's pretty cool. Like this game came out when I was I think in like middle or high school, so I would have been like peak weeaboo phase. So like having a Sakura flower Pokemon was pretty sick, I guess. Although I didn't like this one until I was much older and like learned to accept that. Oh yeah, key Pokemon are fine too. They don't all have to be cool. I don't know. This one's really cute. This is one of my favorite of the Gen 4 Pokemon. I put it in the thumbnail for a reason. It's pretty good. I wish this was the default form, but it's not, and that kind of bums me out. Its default form is this sad little idiot. Um, this is another Pokemon who's just kind of clock in, clock out. I understand what it is. Like, oh, the sun's not out. I'm very gloomy. Oh, sun's out. I'm actually quite happy. That makes sense. That makes sense. I respect that artistic choice. But this is the point where some of these Pokemon are getting a little bit too cute with their ideas. They got a little bit too much going on. I appreciate that Cherubi has a little bit of a dichotomy going on, where initially I thought that it was just arbitrarily two Pokemon. It was just a double Pokemon for no particular reason, but I guess the little tiny head turns into the night form. No, that's not true. Never mind. I was gonna say like maybe the overcast form. I think is what it's called. That one comes from the little tiny head, and the sunny form comes from the happy head. But no, this Pokemon transforms into each other, so maybe not. I don't know if there's any additional Sakura lore where these trees look like very loamy when the sun's not out. I actually don't know. Maybe I should have checked that. It turns out Tsuchinokos actually do have, if you watch the Generation 9 one, turns out Tsuchinokos actually do have a little bit of a additional lore associated with like bugs and stuff. So it does make more sense that they have segments. Although I will maintain, until my dying breath, Dunsparce should have been called Abundunsparce. But that's neither here nor there. You can go back and watch that, but not right now. Watch it after you finish this. Shellos. There's only one Shellos. Why is there one Shellos? There's only one Shellos, but two Cherums. That's okay. Like, I like the, I think this is the East form. There's a West form that's blue, and the hair is a little bit different. And I actually like that one a little bit more, but, this one's definitely going in the hair club for Mons. This thing has a dumb haircut, which is a shame, because I actually think Shellos is actually quite cute. It took me a long, long time to warm up to Shellos, but it's okay. I'm happy that its pink and blue forms are not gendered. Thank fucking God, dude. Actually, I think. Oh, here's your Snell fact. So I don't believe a lot of mollusks, like snails and slugs, like have gender or have sexes by default. It's a feature that they kind of do when it's time to mate, where they both then grow like an appendage for impregnating the other one, and then they have a duel to see who's going to carry the child, and the loser becomes female. Um, I'm sure you can like make a misogynistic joke on that, but it's just such a weird thing to happen. uh, and the reason they duel is because, well, you know, you're already a slug, so you know, not super adept at defending yourself. So imagine that, but now you're pregnant too. So there you go. Yeah, so there's another one. There's a crypt form and a blood form, I guess. They're both cool. I actually like them both. Both forms go in about the same place. I like the blue form a little bit more on both of them, but they both about get the same place. Actually, I think the blue Shellos actually probably goes in C, but you have this dumb thing on your head, so there you go. I think some forms of actual sea slugs do have that. This is a distinct sea slug. Um, but, you know, there we go. Also, I like that Gastrodon, I believe this thing's called. The pink one has horns. I don't know what to do with that information. That's pretty cool. Gives me a devil man for fucking dorks, I guess. That's pretty good. This guy's cute. Ambipom. Okay. Just barely escaping F on this one. Ambipom is just such a downgrade from Apom. Oh god. It's way too detailed. It has elbows now. I hate that. It has like this weird clown motif. Oh, and let's not even... It has a bowl cut, dude. Why the hell does this thing have a bowl cut? Look at this dude. Look at this guy. What are those? Look at this idiot. This is definitely like the downgrade of a century. Like, I understand the idea of, hey, we need to evolve Apom. What do we do? Well, what if it had two tails? Make it ambidextrous. Okay, that's great. But why did the rest of it have to become bad? This is really a gross overcomplication of a Pokemon that was just complicated enough. Ugh, this thing's hideous. And, like, it has this dumb thing on its head. Hate it. Okay, let's hurry up to a Pokemon I actually do like. Drifbloom. Glass, you actually made me like this Pokemon quite a bit, so you're a bad influence. This guy is pretty good. He has a little cloudy head. That's pretty fun. He's haunted. He drags you off to the afterlife. That's pretty good. He looks like just a regular little dude. I think he was in an episode of Inuyasha dragging children off to the hereafter. That's pretty fun. I don't like that it has a mouth underneath that bandage, but, you know, it's pretty good. And then there's Drifblim. I'm not gonna lie, I actually like this one just a little bit worse. So I understand the concept of it. We're going from a regular balloon to a hot air balloon, right? And that's pretty good. But I think it's just a little bit overcomplicated. I don't know. Maybe I'd like it more if it was just a one-stage Pokemon, maybe? I don't know. Also, you can only catch it on Fridays, which is weird. I know there's some association with Fridays being like an unlucky day of the week, but there's no one mentioned that it's just kind of there on Fridays, I guess. Like, maybe if someone says, like, oh man, I got a bad feeling about Fridays, there's always these ghost Pokemon showing up, maybe that would make me feel a little bit better about it, the same way that, I'd be down with, like, the Reggies, having Braille if an NPC in the game mentioned it. I mean, they do mention Friday, but they don't mention why Friday, right? So it feels a little bit random. Maybe it's just a cultural thing that I'm missing or forgetting about. But I do quite like both of these Pokemon. Drifbloom is a little bit overcomplicated, and I don't like the way it's spelled. But it's pretty cool. And also, Fantina is a ace Pokemon, so that's pretty fun. It looks like a hot air balloon. Hot air balloons should have a fun design to them, and this one does. I don't know about all the arms that it has. part of me wishes maybe if it had a basket, but that might actually overcomplicate things. So I don't know. It's fine as is. It's really good. Actually, it's too low. Seems about right. And you definitely going a little higher. There we go. That's good. Lopunny. Okay, so just Baneri on its own is actually quite cute. I actually love Baneri. It's very cute. There's nothing particular about this guy. This is just another one of those Generation 1 Pokemon looking fellows that just kind of exist, you know? It only seems to be able to have one ear extended at a time for some reason, and I find that very endearing. For some reason, and I don't know if this has lore for actual rabbits, but it always starts out with like the lowest possible happiness rating, but then the Pokemon evolves by happiness. This is just some Pokemon. It's okay. This is a solid Pokemon all the time. And this is the first entry into problematic. Okay, I'm gonna keep it real here. I actually think Baneri is actually quite cute. As a friend, as a friend, it looks like it's supposed to be like an attractive mother rabbit, but it also looks like it's supposed to be that way. Like it doesn't really look like it looks like that for my benefit. It looks like there's some artistic stuff going on as to why it looks like that. Like it always kind of gave me the vibes of like a nature spirit, like a spirit of fertility or something, which is I guess that's sort of what rabbits do in real life, and that does have some association with sex, I guess, but not necessarily for my benefit. So my real rating for Baneri, especially since it looks like a creature that like fights, which is a big one. It looks like a creature that you're actually not really supposed to interact with it. If you see it, just keep walking, because this thing is very aggressive or something. That's the vibe it gives me. It's probably like a B, maybe even low A. Like it looks like it's supposed to be a fighting type, and you kind of see that reflected in Mega Baneri, but just on principle, it has to go in problematic. There's just too much history. There are too many Coomers. There are too many sickos. But not the good kind. Not the kind where the sickos who are at the window going, yes, yes. No, these are the bad sickos, so it's going in problematic, unfortunately. Then there's Mismagius. That's really good. Really good. Easy A Pokemon. Or Easy S, actually. So I already really like Mischievous. I like wizards and stuff, so, I gotta give Mismagius a high tier. The only real issue I have with it is the mouth. I don't like the mouth. Other than that, this guy is great. Has a sort of cat ear motif. It has, like, a lot of the same motif stuff as Mischievous. It's damn, I still don't know what the name of that creature is from mythology that this thing's based off of. Maybe I should just check. Monster Head. It might be a Mononagel. I'm probably butchering that. It's like a creature with like half of its body just kind of removed. It's just sort of flying around. And usually it actually does have some association with witches. So that's pretty good. I guess it's a pretty creative way of handling it. Right up there with Shin Megami Tensei, where it's like seductively rubbing its own butt. So there we go. Happy it's not doing that. The S stands for sorcery in this case. There's Honchkrow, which is a Pokemon that was kind of made to be a sort of parallel to Mismagius. It's also pretty good. Pretty good Pokemon. Actually, for a long time I liked Honchkrow quite a bit more. For a very long time, it was actually my favorite Pokemon, but I think I've matured, I've wizened, and realized that Murkrow is actually a better Pokemon. They don't all have to be, big and rough and tumble. But this thing's a Mafia-Don. I like how both Mismagius and Honchkrow are now employed. So that's cool. One is a mafia boss, the other is a witch. They solve crime. Well, they do crime actually, but has a fedora, has a suit. That's pretty good. Honchkrow, it's pretty good. This is about the point where the Pokemon start getting bolder in color, and they're sometimes afraid to color the Pokemon black. And I think for a Pokemon like Rampardos and Honchkrow, that actually hurts their design quite a bit. Like even the Luxray line has this issue where the black on them is more of like a gray or bluish kind of tint to it, which maybe that helps in me not liking them. So there we go. Okay, and there's this little dude. This little dude's pretty good. I actually like him. He's cute. Sometimes you just need a regular old normal Pokemon, Just a spoiled idiot. Head kind of shaped like a moon. Gives me big Artemis from Sailor Moon vibes, I guess. I don't know why its tail is coiled up like that, but, this is just another A Pokemon that is just a thing that exists in this world, but is designed pretty well. There's Purugly. I understand the joke is that it's, obviously worse looking, but I actually like it quite a bit less, actually. But it is cool. I think it's Honchkrow, shiny form, a pimp named Slickbeak. That's true. Oh, okay, that's you. Okay. I didn't know who you were for a second. I thought you were someone else, but now that has tipped me off to your identity in real life. Now I know. Well, thank you for dropping by, everybody. All my friends are here, all two of them. Yeah, I guess it's okay. It's a big fat cat. I think the idea of a fat cat is kind of taken up already. Maybe it's because Persian already handled this idea quite a bit better. I think Purugly is just another fat cat. It's just like another big boss cat, right? But also it has going for it that's another very gendered Pokemon, not to the same way that Nidoqueen is, or I guess even Roserade, but we already have a boss cat Pokemon, and that boss cat Pokemon went the extra mile in being both a house cat and a smaller big cat, a panther, I guess. So if you ever have any racists saying where's White Panther, just point it at Persian. There you go. Chingling kind of sucks. Why does this Pokemon even exist? I don't know. This guy just kind of sucks. He's the one that kind of sucks on principle. He's not magically bad. I understand why he exists. Well, no, that's not true. I understand what it is. It's a bell and it cries, so it makes a lot of noise. Did anyone look at Chimecho and say, this one needs a baby form? I don't think so. Did you even know Chimecho could breed? I'm not even entirely sure Chimecho can breed. I think it can only breed with Ditto. Kind of sucks on principle. I don't like him. See, probably the best Pokemon in F. His real rating is probably a D, but I just hate him on principle. Then there's Skunky and Skuntank. His head looks like a butt, so he's got to go in D. I don't really have anything else to say. His head looks like a butt. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know. He just, I'm very reluctant to call any Pokemon lazy, but this one kind of seems a little lazy. This was a principled F, not a true F. Honestly, the real rating is probably more like a C. If I'm being like totally honest with you, it's probably a C. Uh, but I don't know. Why does this stupid thing even exist? It's just worse than Chimecho. I guess like there is some quality about this thing that I'm curious about. Like it's another. Okay, oh, all right, fine. I'll stop fucking memeing around. Fine. All right, you got me. You fucking twisted my arm. Fine. Are you happy now? It's just going in unimpressive. Um, yeah, I guess it's like a ceremonial bell, and I think that's cute. It does have the I don't know what you call it, the ceremonial rope on the back of it. That's pretty good. It feels a little bit dissimilar to Chimecho though. Um, what I will give it credit for is that this generation has not one but two different Bell Pokemon, and they seem and both of them seem like Pokemon that might be used in some type of ceremonial service, and they seem radically different from each other, and that's pretty good. So this is not the point in which you can say Nintendo ran out of ideas. Yo, what's up, Raymond Sanchez? How you doing today? Hope you're having fun. We're about, I think, I was gonna say halfway through, but I think we're like a third through. Feels like there's a lot more Pokemon than there are. Hope you're having fun. I hope your whatever Pokemon you like is correctly rated, or a Pokemon that you really hate is correctly rated. And then there's Skuntank. Um, this is another butthead Pokemon. Um, but this one is part of the joke, and I'm more accepting of it. Um, it's not quite as on the nose. I like the PFP. What's my PFP again? Oh, right, yeah, the little Godzilla guy. Eventually, I'm gonna change that to a piece that I had commissioned to just be my face on the internet. But I just like this little Godzilla. This little Godzilla plush thing way too much. It's pretty cute. I like it quite a bit, so it gets to stay. Um, why do I have the stream set as I'm streaming Rhythm Heaven? Hmm. Okay. Oh yeah, Skuntank is pretty good. It's one of the rare joke Pokemon where the joke basically connects with me. Both Skuntank and Perugly, I think, are supposed to be a pair Pokemon. I like the joke of Skuntank a little bit more. Vaporeon is one of my favorite Pokemon. I'm pretty sure I put it in S. I don't know if you're memeing at me with the Vaporeon Kabi Pasta, but that boy's pretty good. He definitely win. I'm pretty sure Vaporeon win S. That one's probably my favorite evolution. So you got some good taste right there. It's like a Murdog. I like how it has a big giant merfolk tail. That's pretty cute. I think a modern day Vaporeon would have like not like would only have two legs and fins, and that would kind of suck. So it's fun that it still gets to be a dog, and you know, I like its little mane too. Vaporeon has a cool mane. Other EVs, you guys are really goofing it up. You guys are really slacking off. Then there's Bronzong and Chingling. No, damn, I can't. This is how you know that some of these guys I don't have quite as much nostalgia for, because I can't quite remember their names. So there's Bronzong and Bronzor, I believe. This one's actually pretty good. It's pretty cute. He can be like low A. No, he could be a low S. The only thing stopping him from like being high S is that one of the bits of decoration is a nose. And I think that's a little bit too much. It's just a little bit too much. But I do like on the back of this Pokemon, it has a leaf pattern on it. And that kind of So for folks who have not seen like the other, Pokemon tier videos, so my running theory, and of course Nintendo will never, never commit to this, is that a lot of Pokemon take the form of what humanity kind of imagines, right? They are in some way linked to the human imagination. Like, Unga Bunga, Grog see big bush. So, maybe now there's like a bush Pokemon. But like, a coder who's been up all night, doing like, just being Dilbert, but not racist. That's how you get Porygon. Or myths about, I don't know, cameras stealing souls and balloons taking you to the afterlife. Well, that's where you get Pokemon. That's where you get a lot of your ghost Pokemon, or like haunted woods. Fears and anxiety about like haunted woods is how you get Phantump and stuff like that. And Bronzong being a Pokemon that seemed to have some more deliberate carvings on it that don't really seem like it could just be like a natural design, makes me think that that is a Pokemon born of human imagination. Maybe one of the earliest that is in some way tied to civilization. That's my running theory, anyway. Both of them are quite good, and they're pretty cool. I do quite like large metal object Pokemon. Clank, the Magnemite line. All those fellows are pretty good, and I like them. So Ponsley has a butthole, so I think it's gotta go on F. All right, Mime Junior. Oh, okay, all right. I'll stop messing with you. All right. Eh. That seems about right. Uh. um. No, it has a diaper. I don't like Pokemon that have diapers on them, actually. There we go. That seems about right. So I don't really hate Bonsly. I'm not really sure why this Pokemon exists. I like the pun on it. It's like a bonsai tree, but it's a sneaky little dude. I think there might be some implication, just based on what it is, not like the lore, that this is not necessarily a baby. This is just what this Pokemon looks like and acts like. Because you know how like they have like very tiny bonsai trees? So maybe this is like a reference to that kind of thing. And a lot of those trees live for a very long time. So there you go. It's an item in Super Smash Brothers. It's pretty cute. Brock had one and it turned into Sudowoodo that licked him up a lot, which is pretty weird. But I guess that's okay because he's the rock guy. We don't see him with rock Pokemon in the anime very often. Or at least I don't think so. I kind of long checked out the anime. I just look at what they what Pokemon they have so I can go, yes, that's a team I might actually use. Interesting. You only see that new Pokemon anime? I sure should didn't. Oh, thank you. I appreciate people appreciating my theories. The only one that I may have to eat crow on now is, so a lot of Pokemon have, like, insides that are just, like an amorphous black blob, right? Like Cloyster, for example. And I like to think all of those Pokemon are related in some way. Like not like directly related, but like in the way that like a beetle and a bee are related. Like they're both bugs, but they're pretty far away from each other on like the grand scale of things on evolution and yada yada yada. I think Wormadam, that line, is one of the few Pokemon where I don't really want to make that comparison because they're all cool except for just that one particular flavor. So, there we go. Alright, Mime Jr. I don't know if it was on this channel or channel I used to have. where someone on Tumblr like many years ago made this funny post about eating Mr. Mime and how you properly prepare it. Like, you know, you take the ball parts off. You're supposed to boil it. They're poison if you don't eat them. If you don't, you know, cook them right. But you can actually just eat Mime Jr. I actually like Mime Jr. quite a bit. What would make Mime Jr. like a million times cooler if it was a Pokemon that was in black and white, so it could be a little bit more overtly a mime. But I don't know if the Japanese version has the same mime pun going on. I assume it doesn't. I like that they had the good sense to not gender it this time. The name, that is, not necessarily the Pokemon. The dude, Nob Ogasawara, who translated the first couple of Pokemon games, even spoke up when he was translating Pokemon, because he only translated the normal text, not the proper nouns, item names, and things like that. And he was on record going, "Hey guys, if you make a Pokemon 2, I could easily see this kind of game having like breeding or something going on. So maybe we don't want to, you know, gender these Pokemon in their names." And Nintendo said, "Shut the fuck up. That's not what I'm paying you for. If you keep if you keep trying to put me on game, I will fire you into the sun." So I said, "Okay, fine." And that's why you have weird lines like the water was dyed a deep shade of blue. uh, because Nintendo would be so weird with him sometimes, where he just goes, "Hey, I get what you're going for, but I think we should go for a different line," or he strayed a little bit too far from the Japanese version, and like, you know, you get weird stuff like ups attack in a pinch because Nintendo was being so weird and aggressive. He just said, "Okay, fuck it, I'm just gonna directly translate most of this stuff now." And thinking, "Oh, okay, well, I'll just be as literal as possible," and Nintendo will chime in and go, "Okay, you were right, I was tripping." But no, they said, "Yeah, good job, perfect, ups attack in a pinch," because you know how us normal native, or well, not native, excuse me, fluent English speakers talk about how much we're in a pinch, right? It's definitely not an anime word. So anyone ever heard the word pinch being used, like, you know, in a pinch, like outside of literally anime or something British? I don't think I ever have. And because I watched so much anime, and when I was younger, British stuff, I would occasionally let loose the word pinch to be like in a tight spot and go, "Oh, uh-oh. Ooh, I've said the anime word." Kind of like saying "at this rate." Um, yeah, it's Mime Jr. He's pretty cute. Um, the additional Mr. Mime forms usually tend to be pretty cute. So, no problem with that. Old people. Yeah, I guess old people do say "in a pinch." I'm gonna ask my mom if she ever said the words "in a pinch." Um, no, that's like regular old. I'm kind of like super old, like guys that remember World War I. I think we were talking like that old, like we really the Kaiser really got us in a pinch this or something. Um, okay, who's up next? Happiny. Um, okay, so I like that it has a haircut. My actual rating of Happiny is actually pretty good. It's probably like a B Pokemon, I think. I don't know why it's there. I don't think this Pokemon needed another form, but there's something about answering the question, "What is inside of Chansey's egg?" With the implication being, "Oh, that's just part of its body," or "Oh, that's just a rock." Yeah, Chansey's just kind of do that, I guess. There is a baby form of this Pokemon that it does carry in its pouch, but um, that's just that's just a rock. Um, there's something a little funny about that, and most of these most of the hair clip are bad Pokemon, but Happiny is a good one. So they are the monarch of the tier, so that's good. Um, Yeah, I think it's pretty cute. I think it captures like a younger Chansey. I kind of wish maybe it had like a little bit more of a nurse vibe, where like, well, I don't really know how you'd add more of that. I guess Chansey and Blissey would have to have more overt doctor vibes in order to make a nurse kind of motif work. Or maybe if this Pokemon had like a bandage going on, like oh yeah, okay. Well, like the word pinch as like a thing for cooking, like that makes sense. Like, oh, add a pinch of salt, or ooh, they pinched my cheek. That all makes sense. But I mean, like, oh, we're really in a pinch today, boys. Like, okay, all right, I don't think anyone really uses it like that. Unless if you do. Sorry if you do. I don't mean to hurt your feelings. Chatot is definitely in Hair Club Mons. Uh, so close to escaping. Um, Actually, you know what? I don't think I've got enough use out of the problematic. This is out of the problematic tier. This is the only Pokemon to say slurs. I'm just having fun. Yeah, you can go into problematic tier. Chatot, definitely the only Pokemon that has ever said a slur. Except for Umbreon, actually. Allow me to allow me to explain. So so Pokemon say their names, right? Like this is universally true, and Chatot does look a little homophobic. There's something about it. I don't know why. I think Chatot is about to call me fruity or something. Um, Pokemon say their names in both English and Japanese. Umbreon's Japanese name is Blackie. Um, that didn't really necessarily strike me as a slur, but I guess it is. I am black for those at home who didn't know. Okay, so I can decide that it doesn't quite sound like a slur, but yeah, I guess it's a slur. I guess if someone called me that, I wouldn't feel good about it. I I'd probably think that they're like a 1920s racist or something. Like they're about to the kind of like races that are so racist that they're saying words that I don't even know what that means. What's a moon cricket? Don't say that for the non-black people. I know that's a very offensive term, but it's also one that you probably never heard in your life if you live in a civilized society. Yeah, Chatot, problematic. It's a racist Pokemon. Definitely said the N word a few times because of its ability, chatter, where because Nintendo felt legally obligated to use something uh, of the DS's microphone feature. If you say words, Chatot will say the words, but I think it will mix up the words, so it can't say exactly a slur, but not really sure why Nintendo would add that kind of thing, because the first thing that you're going to do is say a slur. So, there we go. I'm just having fun. Oh, also it has like blackface on too, so. Uh, a British doctor, not to be rude. Um, yeah, I guess, wait, a doctor British. Like a British doctor, or like a character named Dr. British, that's caps. Is there a character named Dr. British? Isn't that like an Ultima guy? Dr. British. Okay, this is a TV show. Okay, well this guy looks like he's a trillion years old, so I guess he would be old enough to where I would be totally okay with him saying in a pinch. Seems like a British word though, so that's cool. And no rudeness taken, Ramon Sanchez. No rudeness taken. We're all just chilling out and having fun. Then there's Spiritomb. So this one honestly used to be like an S for me for a long time. Definitely gonna get canceled for only putting this thing in B, but I think it's a crazy eye. I think it's supposed to be a little bit too cool. It's just a little bit too cool. A lot of the Pokemon I like feel like they're dorky, but they're doing their best, like a Rampardos and Bastiodon. Look at these goobers. They're trying so hard. Look at how hard these guys have 40-hour-a-week jobs. They're doing their thing. They're getting up early in the morning and defending stuff and bashing in the stuff like hard-working Union Joes, right? And then there's Spiritomb. Actually, no. Well, okay, this is still a little bit low for a Pokemon like Spiritomb, but, you know, that's still a little bit low. I expect to be canceled and drawn and quartered over this one, but that's okay. Um, I like that it's a hive of spirits. And I think the reason why I don't like this one as much as I want to is the crazy eye. Or the fact that it only has one crazy eye. I don't know if I'm very into that. He's okay though. He's pretty good. I like that you can see the odd keystone still inside of it as a Pokemon. So that's fun. Again, I like that this is a hive of, of not just any, bad guys, but like, this is a hive of sin. I think the lore is actually that. That's pretty good. I think Arceus gives it some lore of like, it's a bunch of dead criminals or like murderers or something like that. It was a real irritating Pokemon to get because you have to collect exactly 108 spirits. That's the number. That's the spooky number in Japan. That's the 108 desires, boys. So that's fun. Spirit Tom. Oh, is this another Pokemon I've been pronouncing wrong for like 20 years? Uh-oh. I think some of these I actually might have only been pronouncing right like for like less than a year. Like Miss Magius. I was saying Miss Magus for like a long time. Spiritomb. Does it not have a B? Spiritomb not spelled with a B? Hold on. Am I getting Spiritomb? Spiritomb. Tome. Huh. Alright, well. I guess it's better than, what's that dude, Pokemon Challenges, who, antagonizes you on purpose by saying, Pokemon names wrong, so he pronounces, Decidueye as a Decadui. That's pretty funny, but it also annoys the hell out of me. But, it's a pretty good goof, calling Decidueye Holdtum. Alright. We gotta get back to our roots. We gotta return to the Hair Club for Mons. Gible and Gabite. Okay. How do I approach this one? So Gibble is a little dude. He's a little land shark, and that's pretty cute. But he's just in the Hair Club for Mons, and that's just what he does. Gibite? I don't know. I like the color. How far are we? Jesus, we got a lot of Pokemon left to go. This guy's pretty cool. I guess he's okay. He does have a little bit of that awkward teen energy, and I don't know if I'm very into that. And he has a weird... Okay, so he looks like a Pokemon that was just wearing a hairnet and a wig 10 minutes ago. It's like he's finally, they're finally off work. They fucking took that dumbass wig off. And underneath is the two buns. That's what this Pokemon reminds me of. Which is okay. I found out, 2 or 3 days ago from, a person telling jokes on the internet, just like an actual comedian. Not everybody is, used to just seeing that, so, for a lot of folks of color, especially black folks, we're kind of used to, Like, hey, you don't really know who's wearing a wig or not, so it's not like crazy when someone says, okay, that's enough of that, and they just fucking rip off the wig. But to some people that is a little off-putting. So I don't know, maybe I'm used to this. Goodbye gives me like big black mom vibes with like the hairnet on. About to ask me, have I lost my goddamn mind because I didn't take the chicken out of the freezer until it got home, and that's why I'm getting hit with like a hundred and like a choice banded earthquake, a choice banded earthquake for not fucking taking out the garbage. Garchomp is really good. I like Garchomp. Usually I don't want to give any props to Pokemon that are intentionally cool, but this one's really, really cool. It's a land shark. Wrong flashback, throwing a wig at somebody. We'll see. That was the Pokemon move, Fling. You see, it's also the first Phoenix Wright game where when you get the lawyer guy, where he knows he's losing, so he gets so mad he fucking rips off his wig and throws it at Phoenix Wright. It's pretty good. It's a top tier Smogon move right there. But Gabite or Garchomp is pretty good. It's definitely the king of Gen 4. Not as kingly as my boy Porleon and the gang, but it's pretty good. It's definitely pretty good. In fact, I think I like it a little bit more than these guys. It is one of those Pokemon where it's so cool that it makes me not want to use it. But it's so cool that I like seeing it on enemy teams. And, let's be real here. This dude is the final boss of Diamond and Pearl. Not Cynthia. You can, Lucario, whatever. Gastrodon, whatever. Roserade, who cares? You have to go into the Elite Four planning to fight this thing. You will not beat Cynthia without a plan for Garchomp. You need to be packing, like, you need to prey on a blizzard, because you're not playing in fucking slots, dude. Cause you're not getting an ice beam. You gotta pray for a blizzard. You gotta hope for a good old wood hammer. You gotta hope you live through a stabbed dragon rush and you can swing back with a wood hammer or something. It's the king. It's a savage Pokemon. It's a big shark. Just a big ball of destructive power. It's a shark. It's on land. It's coming for you. You thought you were safe from the sharks on land, but they got legs. Gashunk, 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 gashunk. We're going full on Junji Ito. He's coming for you. So this guy's pretty good. Oh, also it can fly. I'm not gonna lie. I hate that Garchomp can apparently fly. We find this out in Legends Arceus, where well, I guess you can actually get there within the first 10 minutes if you glitch through the game, but you can say that for any Pokemon game. I'm sorry, not Legend Arceus, it's Scarlet and Violet. Where so if you manage to glitch yourself, if you manage to glitch yourself up near the edge of Area 0, like kind of near where the crater is, and walk along the border, you'll just see Garchomp just kind of flying. But because the game had a budget of like $9, instead of like the Pokemon flying around and then making like an aerial turn to you, like flying around and just going in a loop to circle back to you like some pathfinding, it just turns. Like, it just makes like a hard turn in the air, just rotating on the spot to look at you as it's flying. It looks like shit. I know people always say with new Pokemon games, oh, it's a step in the right direction. I'm stealing this from Imported Cheese. They've been taking a step in the right direction for 10 years. How many steps do they have to take before they actually get anywhere? That's the question here. But Garchomp is good. in summary, Munchlax is also pretty good, although this particular sprite kind of looks like shit. He's a big old fuzzy little guy. He looks like a puppet. I really appreciate that he looks like a little puppet. Like, he can just put his hand in his back and he goes, ba 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 ba. He like a Muppet. That's pretty good. Snorlax is a Pokemon where actually I'd be totally okay with a baby form of it, because I have a hard time conceptualizing what a baby Snorlax looks like. And the same isn't true for, like, Chimecho. It's not really true for, like, Magmar. I just kind of assume it's smaller Magmars, I guess. But I do kind of wonder what a smaller, that guy looks like, Snorlax. So that's pretty good. Also like the color scheme on it. And again, this is another Pokemon that is a miserable chore to get. I think if you do everything in your power, and you're slathering honey on every single tree 4 times a day. Every 6 hours you're slathering every single tree in Sinnoh. You'll have one in about a week, give or take. And this is like, without missing a beat. Because how we all just wake up in the middle of the night to slather trees and check if any rare Pokemon have spawned on the tree. And I guess they make sure you can't cheat your way into getting a Munchlax, because a lot of these new baby Pokemon need to hold incense in order to create an offspring. I don't know why that is. I mean, I'm getting the feeling it's to preserve continuity. But also, do you really want to get an extra item to get Chimecho? Or Chingling, rather. Do you really want to hold an extra item to go through extra steps to get your hands on Happiny or Bonsly? No, you don't want to do that. That kind of sucks. There you go. You. Ugh. Okay. Alright, okay. Well, let's get the good part out of the way now. So, this guy's okay. He's fine. I don't really have an issue with him. He's like a little wolf man. That's, whatever. I don't have an issue with, that one. It's the other one. Are you going in problematic or are you going in F? I don't think I've got. Okay, so the thing about the problematic tier is that it doesn't always imply that the Pokemon itself is bad, just that I have an issue with it. But I think I gotta put. This is the worst Pokemon. I think this might be my least favorite of any Pokemon. Okay. Why is Lucario a Steel type? Yeah, me neither. No clue. Okay, so dogs. You know dogs. So I want you to imagine the head of a dog, right? Now imagine a dog opening its mouth. Where did the dog open its mouth from? Its mouth probably opened from the snout, right? Lucario, yeah, listen. You don't understand how bad I'm about to wreck this boy. Imagine like a dog opening its mouth, right? It opens its mouth from like the long part of its head. How come Lucario has a dog snout but a man mouth? How come Lucario has 2 sets of ears? Yeah, I don't know either. Hey, what's going on with its chest? Why does it have like this weird beige colored chest? Why does it have these dumbass fucking spikes on its fist, but like the top of its fist? That makes no sense. How come it learns Bone Rush and Bonemerang? Like, oh, because it's a dog. Well, I mean, Houndoom doesn't learn that. It's a dog. Well, it's a bad dog, doesn't do trick. Okay, well, Arcanine doesn't do that. This is a Mary Sue ass Pokemon. I just hate this thing so much. Glad I wish this thing was based on Anubis. That would be pretty cool. Um, but Anubis don't do that. That's Cope. You can go back and watch some of the other videos I do where, like, I definitely make some leaps in logic that's a little bit Cope. And I think Lucario as Anubis is, like, definitely one of those little things that are, I think you're coping with the situation. Like how I said Weedle is a clown Pokemon because it has, like, a little party hat, like the needle on its head is a party hat and it has, like, a little clown nose. That's Cope. That's me coping with this as a nothing burger Pokemon. um, this thing is hideous. I hate everything about it. And let's not forget that this is like, if you think that, like, there's a lot of Gardevoir like Rule 34, there is so much more Lucario Rule 34. Um, I just hate this thing so goddamn much. And the worst part about it is that's a pretty good Pokemon. Like, there's no reason why you wouldn't want to use this thing on your team, because it's just objectively one of the best Pokemon in Diamond and Pearl, because most of the Pokemon in the game aren't really that good. It has a great typing, it has great stats, it has a great move pool, so you have to use this horrible thing. Ugh. If furries are gonna fur, I would let Lopunny slide. This is too much, okay? This is too much. I have nothing against... I think the whole hating furries thing is honestly a little bit played out. Most people hate furries because they're homophobes. There are a lot of fucking gay furries. A lot of them, kind of do, act kind of weird. And people just hate them because they're gay or whatever, right? I just hate Lucario. I just hate Lucario so much. I want Pokemon to be, like, beast at my disposal. I don't want them to be my friend. Like, Lucario looks like a dude I'm gonna call it if I need a hand moving. That's not what I want. I want to, like, wake up hungover or whatever, still obligated to feed this thing. Because that's what a good owner does. Lucario looks like he's about to, like, make me breakfast, and I don't know if I feel comfortable with that. I'm really not a fan of Lopunny either. Well, no, Lopunny is cool, but I feel like there's some mythological vibes to Lopunny going on that feel more clear. Like, Lopunny as a creature that exists in this world makes a little bit more sense. If I see Pokemon as, like, various spirits and mythological creatures, I can see Lopunny as, like, a spirit of fertility, right? Like, it's, it has, like, a human-shaped, like, body, I guess, but it's not necessarily for my benefit. It's just telegraphing to me that this creature has something to do with, like, the idea of fertility, like rabbits do, I guess, right? What does Lucario do? I just hate Lucario so much. Why is its eyes red? This thing is so goddamn edgy. How come it gave Ash the ability to do a Hadouken? How come it has a whole NPC, like a really cool NPC guy, that he's based off of? um, there's just so much about this thing that I just hate so goddamn much. This is a Pokemon where I would be okay if they took a second swing at it and made, like, a new form of it that looks a little bit more overtly like Anubis, like a little bit more overtly like Anubis, God of the Dead. And it's still like a dog man, but it has, like, some very ominous theming going on. Maybe it has, like, a bone scythe that actually would be pretty cute. But as it is, hey, why is it a fighting type? Why is Lucario? I just hate Lucario so goddamn much. So I hope everyone has enjoyed my Lucario rant. I hate this thing so much. It's definitely the worst Pokemon. This thing made me so mad. It made me miss my chance of making Aurora Borealis joke, and I love Aurora Borealis jokes. Me fighting Cynthia. I think I'm doing pretty good. I send out a physically defensive Pokemon, thinking no problem, and then it hits me with Aura Spear, and I go, the Aurora Borealis at this time of day, in this part of the country, isolated to the final boss of the game. Can I see? I don't want to see. Get it out of here. It's a bad dog. It's got to be the worst dog. Okay, now back to... I don't know what to do now. Maybe I should have saved that one for last. I'm not even going to touch Mega Lucario. Actually, I don't have anything new to... Gladys, you know I love the Aurora Borealis joke. You know how much I love making Steam Ham jokes in 2023. Fun fact, so even independently of like Steam Hams being a meme, I pretty much always thought that was like a really funny joke. Like that whole skit, since I'm an old school Simpsons head, that's always been one of my favorite jokes. So I felt so vindicated when it finally became a fucking meme. Lucario does see energy. I think some dogs can see extra colors. And maybe that's a reference to... Maybe that's what they're getting at with Aura. I don't know. Lucario is just way too cool. He's just way too goddamn cool for his own good. I just hate him. I'm sorry if you're all Lucario enjoyers, but I'm actually not sorry. I hope that this is all giving you something to consider. Maybe Lucario actually kind of sucks. Why don't you go enjoy a nice, respectable Pokemon like Hippopotas? He's a big dumb guy. I'm not sure why he's potato themed. I don't really like his eyeballs. They look kind of gross. It's cute when he opens his mouth and yawns though. Hippowdon is great though. This is a hard working Joe right here. This is a strong old hippo. You know, hippos are actually quite scary in real life. They're actually very dangerous. Hippos also have more in common with horses than they do with, like, sea animals. In fact, I think they're part of, like, the same family of, a family of creature as horses. They can just smash watermelons open. Like, they just chew them. Like, they just gobble up watermelons like it's just normal to just chew up a watermelon. They're cute as babies, though. That's, some weeaboos want to go to Japan for anime. And I think we got anime at home, right? I want to go to the Ueno Zoo to see those cute little hippos, because the hippos have a little shower that they get to go into. And it's really cute, and I advise looking at videos of it. But hippos are, pretty terrifying. Like, they look like a creature that would be like a gentle giant. No, hippos are actually super aggressive. Like, I think a shark may actually be more likely to leave you be than a hippo. I mean, it's probably because, hippos are actually smarter than sharks, so they kind of, they know to ward you off, where, like, a shark antagonizing you is more so a product of, you were probably filleting around. I thought you were like a seal, and they just wanted to check it out. Anyway, another hard-working, good-natured Pokemon is Skorupi. Skorupi's pretty good. I like him quite a bit. He's a cute little dude. I have mixed feelings on this antenna thing it has, or not antenna, this accordion motif that it has going on. But, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like the color scheme on it, too. I like that it's a bug. That's pretty fun. Just another Pokemon that just kind of exists, and we just haven't had a real, Scorpion Pokemon. But we do have Drapion, this horrible thing. This looks like a boss Pokemon. Okay, so I said before that I had mixed feelings about, or I didn't like Pokemon that have built-in personalities. But I think this was right around the time where the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game started coming out. And some of these Pokemon, they kind of use their personality traits to like inform their characters in the game. What's that guy called? Pelipper. I'm just a good old courier guy. Or like Abra's like the smart guy. That kind of stuff, right? I extremely territorial beast. Yeah. Also, hippos are quite fast. I guess because they're in the horse family. Um, Sorry, I'm a little behind, like, in terms of the comments. Like, I'm looking at it and responding immediately, but I think there's like a delay of like a minute, I think, or something like that. I'm living in the future, so if for all you know, I could just be dead right now. Meteor could have hit me. You won't know for like another like 30-ish seconds. Don't worry, I haven't died yet. Well, I don't know that. If it happens at the speed of light. Did you know that the sun is about 8 light minutes away from us? Which, that seems normal. Yo, if the sun just dipped out right now, like if Swiper just, like Dora the Explorer is sleeping on a job, Swiper just comes by and just grabs the sun, we wouldn't know for like 8 minutes. And that's pretty, I don't know, there's something about that that's just inherently funny. We would just be chilling out, thinking everything is cool for like, like 8 minutes. It's like, oh yeah, no problem. Definitely gonna keep having the sun for a while. So that's pretty funny. In its own cosmic way. I'm sure this. If I found that out when I was younger, that would have horrified me. But now, it's kind of funny that we will just have no clue for a couple of minutes. We just be chilling out. Okay. Where was I? Oh, right. Good old respectable blue Pokemon who are hardworking and pay their taxes. Well, actually, I'm pretty doubtful Croagunk pays his taxes. This guy looks pretty sketchy. So Croagunk is pretty good. Oh, yeah, that whole Pokemon Mystery Dungeon thing I said before. I think that its personality is informed by Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Although, I'm going to keep real with you, I only played those games for like 10 minutes and just dropped it. Maybe if they bring another one to the Switch, I'll play more of it. I always start it and fall off. Because I want to read the voice in my head and get tired of doing it after 10 minutes. I hear they're all really good. And by here, I mean, Gladys in the chat told me. We're forever bonded in the only two areas of Pokemon that generally don't have a dramatic drop in quality of the manga and Mystery Dungeon. I would say the card game, but I don't know, the card game kind of sucks. The old card game seems really fun. I played the Game Boy port a few weeks ago, and it was actually pretty fun. And then I said, "Ooh, that's so fun! I'm going to try to play the Pokemon official trading card game," and it it fucking sucked because it was like Yu-Gi-Oh, where there's just so much shit going on that I just can't get my head wrapped around it. But if you play, like, I'm not disrespecting you. Like, I play Magic the Gathering. Okay, you can laugh at me with how's your fucking Assassin's Creed aggro doing? Are you enjoying your Legacy Walking Dead deck? That was a joke only for me. Croagunk is really good. I like that it has the little I don't know what you call it. The thing that some little hooligans wear, the Bokuzoku guys wear. Like in Yu Hakusho, like when they're at a dark tournament and Kuwabara had one of those things, like, under his jacket. That's pretty cool. He's a little hooligan guy. He's a pretty shifty guy. He's a poison dart frog. I really like his coloration. That's really good. That's actually like a very beautiful color. Croagunk is definitely one of my favorite of the Gen 4 Pokemon, and probably one of my favorite fighting type Pokemon, because it doesn't quite look like a traditional fighting type. The same is basically true of Toxicroak as well. I think Sarashi, thank you. That's what they're called. Okay, I didn't even know they had words for them. The same is basically true for Croagunk, or Toxicroak rather. It's a little bit overly complicated, and it's fighting a little bit dirty now. Like Croagunk may have a dirty thought, but Toxicroak is, Toxicroak has a knife. It's a poison dart frog. It has the actual darts built in. It has the big frog sack going on. It still has like a kind of goofy smile to it. It looks way more intimidating, but still looks like a pretty goofy dude. Like, both of these guys, like, so Toxicroak looks way more dangerous than Croagunk, right? But they both look like, somewhere deep down, the same little kid is still there. Like, Croagunk is getting into all sorts of business, like, selling drugs and, seriously injuring people, like extortion and shit. But, he still has, like, he would still stop dead in his tracks, before robbing you if you said go Power Rangers, because he thinks, like, damn, I remember Power Rangers when I was a little kid. He seems like a mischievous guy. Like, he gets into, like, some really bad stuff now, but somewhere deep down, he's the same goofy dude, and I appreciate him for that. Carnivine. I actually really like Carnivine. Good old Audrey too. I've made 2 or 3 different Audrey 2 props from Little Shop of Horrors over the years for various costumes. And one that surprised me that I just haven't gotten around to making is like maybe like the Generation 4 trainer with like a Carnivine as an Audrey 2 prop. Maybe I don't know, maybe I'll do that one day. That might be really fun. But I do like Audrey 2. I'm a little surprised it took us this long to get this particular type of carnivorous plant. There aren't really that many carnivorous plant Pokemon. There's just Victreebel, I think. But now we have a what you call them? The kind that close up around you. So that's pretty good. I like its big silly mouth. It looks like a Pokemon that will hurt you 100%, but it itself isn't really a vicious Pokemon, or rather, its nature is to act like this, but it itself is not like especially cruel. And that's sort of how I feel about like flesh-eating or carnivorous plants, in that it feels brutal how they feed, but the way they kind of are just makes me think of they're just, nothing scary about them. That's just what they do. It is kind of weird to think that a plant can bite back, but, well, he just has to eat, just like the rest of us, right? Like, I'm sure if there was a sentient species of cow, it would be pretty brutal to know that this is what we do. So, thank you, Venus Flytrap. I don't know why I'm blanking on all this. So something that they don't really tell you about streaming is that you're trying to keep in mind what you sound like at a given time. You're keeping an eye on the chat. You're kind of thinking about how long you've been talking, and none of those things are like especially difficult. But when you add them together, it gets a little hard to do stuff like remember things. You know what I mean? So, thanks for bearing with me on that one. Yeah, Carnivine is really great. I think I will make a Carnivine puppet one day. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, though. It'll be cool. I don't know. Who else? One of these days. Well, Carnivine's a really good Pokemon. I like its color scheme. It has this almost silly Dracula like vibe. Like specifically the back of it kind of looks like it's a cape, and that makes me think that it's like, it's the count. 1, 2, 3. I'll eat 3 of you. But he can be talked into eating cookies though, because he's a silly guy. Okay. Oh, and I also like the shade of color. I like the actual vines. I like the pun Carnivine as well. Finneon. Um, um, what the fuck do I say about Finneon? Um, okay. Again, I refuse to say they're running out of ideas because this is an original idea for a Pokemon, but it's certainly not a very interesting one. It's not a bad one. Like it's executed well enough. Um, Maybe I just haven't seen it in enough Pokemon games to really get a very good appreciation for it. I quite like that this seems like a beautiful Pokemon. It has the tail of a very pretty is it a beta? I don't remember what type of fish it's supposed to be based off of. I think it's like a beta or it's some type of tropical fish. Um, and I think that's cool. And I think if this type of Pokemon came out now, and it did, it's called Bruxish, I think. They would really overdo that it's supposed to be a colorful Pokemon. But the way it is now, it is a little bit of a nothing burger Pokemon, but it's okay, and I have no issue with it. The same is true for Finneon, I guess. I like it quite a bit more though. Its eyes are red. This guy's been smoking seaweed. I'm sorry, I had to make the fun. It has more overtly butterfly features. I quite like the coloration on it. It does look like a Pokemon that would live deep under the sea. Um, so okay. So in Magic the Gathering, right? Um, they don't necessarily make every card new for every set. And they don't necessarily make every mechanic new for every set. Sometimes they designed a mechanic or they designed a card several years ago and it was a good card, but it just didn't quite fit what they needed at that moment. So it basically went into a file waiting on the day for it to be used later on. And because of the way Pokemon works, I kind of assume that that is also how Pokemon works as well. Where sometimes they'll be sitting on an idea for a Pokemon for butterfly fish. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they're butterfly fish. I thought there were a different name for it, but no. I guess they're just called butterfly fish. Um, yeah, I get the feeling that honestly, I feel like this was probably a Generation 3 Pokemon that they just didn't quite have space for. So it just got pushed to Generation 4 because it was still a pretty solid idea for a Pokemon and they just needed another normal looking fish Pokemon. And that's okay. The reason the reason I say that is mostly because this looks like a deep sea Pokemon. The coloration makes me think that this was probably a Pokemon you found in like a dive area, for example. And I don't think Generation 4 has any of that. But I mean, I could be wrong. Butterfly fish just could be, native to Hokkaido. Oh, by the way, that's where Sinnoh is based, Hokkaido. I can't believe I haven't said that at any point during any of this. Um, I guess I'm losing my touch. So you may notice like a theme of a lot of these Pokemon are based on animals that live in more rugged environments, and that's because Hokkaido is like the most northern island of Japan. It's like very mountainous, very rugged, and the bulk of Sinnoh is kind of mountainous, very rugged land. Even the flatlands are basically just the foothills of the mountains, or parts of the mountain that happen to be flat. So that's why you see a lot of Pokemon that are like hippos, that are, bugs, that look like, even the a lot of the water Pokemon that we see in Pokemon um, tend to look like they favor, like, kind of warmer environments. But even these water Pokemon look like they kind of favor, colder climates. We see that kind of in Apex and um, in Platinum, where it's just snowy all the time, and a lot of these Pokemon basically fit the bill. So there we go. That's sort of why I do these based on region to region, and I try to judge them based on everything in a region, not just necessarily them as an individual. Speaking of Mantike, did you really think that Mantine needed a baby form? I'm not sure why Mantine has a baby form. It's okay. I don't really know what else to say about this thing. It's a Mantike, but it's a Mantine, but small. It's a Mantike. Wasn't this important in Pokemon Rangers? I guess. Okay. So I will concede that it's possible that there were some Pokemon that they designed. It's cute. I'm not ready to say it's not cute, but a lot of these Pokemon don't make me feel anything, and they are going to lose points if they make me feel nothing. Not all of them. Like Finneon makes me feel nothing, but it's in C. But this one just feels like you. It feels like a Pokemon that had a hard act to follow, and that's how I feel a lot about a lot of baby Pokemon. And I will concede that over time, Nintendo gets a little bit more consistent with its design philosophy when it comes to how Pokemon are created. And sometimes they make a Pokemon that just sort of exists as like a middle evolution, but it doesn't turn into anything, and it also was at no point a baby. So I noticed for a lot of modern Pokemon, if you ask yourself, could I see this thing hatching from like an egg? Does this creature look like a child or an adolescent version of, whatever it's supposed to be? The answer is commonly yes. And I suspect that we got so many baby Pokemon in this generation and the last, I guess, is because the answer was more often than not no. Like, I can't really see like a baby Mantine, or I can't really see a baby Chimecho. So they felt it would be a good time to go back and create a baby version of a lot of these Pokemon that you have a hard time imagining, being birthed, I guess, or being an infant, rather. I don't think Pokemon are actually birthed. I think they just kind of manifest as like an egg. Kind of like Digimon, I guess. Okay. Snover and Abomasnow. Snover's okay. It's fine. I'm not a big fan of Snover. I think this is a Pokemon that just had a hard act to follow. Snover's fine, but I think Abomasnow is just a better Pokemon. And it's so much better that it, makes it harder to like Snover. It is very monstrous. It does have this sort of mushroom-like quality to it. Like, like a very silly guy that lives out in the woods. Like, it has, like, a sort of cryptid vibe to it. I'm sure it has some yokai energy that I culturally am just not familiar with. Or maybe it's escaping me right now. That's honestly the vibe it gives me. But Abomasnow is actually a great Pokemon. Like, we don't really have too many, like, Yeti-like Pokemon, but this thing is really cool. I like the idea of having, like, a big... Abomasnow is ugly. It's a really ugly Pokemon, but that's okay. Like, I'm not dating them based on how eligible a bachelor, they are. If so, then, according to the people, then Lucario and Lopunny would be an S. Um, Abomasnow is a hideous Pokemon, but it's really great. Um, so what is Abomasnow? Abomasnow is a Yeti. I don't want to bump into a Yeti in the wild. This guy looks pretty spooky. This guy looks like he would kill me instantly. Like when I go up to the woods, like I think I would specifically bring a torch that he's quad weak to, just in case I bump into him, so I can hit him with that times 4 flamethrower damage to really scare him off. And I guess he might be more of I guess more of a Watigo, I guess, than a Yeti. But Abominable Snowman, Yeti, a Yowie. That's apparently another word for a Abominable Snowman. He's all those fellas put together, and that's pretty cool. But he also, pun intended, but he also is a pine tree Pokemon as well. Like, he seems to be some tree monster too. And again, say it with me, you all know the words, 50-foot tall, how good would it be? The answer is very, so, he's down. Pretty good dude. I'd probably use him more, because I do like a lot of these more monstrous Pokemon. Because, hey, they're pocket monsters, but its ability, Snow Warning, tends to be the one it has the most often, so I don't use it. Oh well. Weavile, you think it will go in a hair club for Mons. In fact, it might actually be the king of the hair club, but no, I actually quite like Weavile. It's pretty good. I wonder, is there some, like, Ainu stuff around its headdress, or are we, vaguely appropriating Native American culture? I'm not really sure. But I do know that it is a Kamaitachi, sickle weasel, where he cuts you so fast you didn't even know he did it. That's cool. I just made the same pun again. I don't mean to. Yeah, he's cutting you so fast you don't even know. The Daikaiju test, exactly. Thank you. I don't think Weavile passes the Daikaiju test, although I could see him as maybe passing, but no, this guy's just pretty cool. Like, he's the big chief Weavile, or he's the chief Sneasel, you know what I mean? So he has a big headdress, or maybe not even necessarily headdress, but just a little bit more ornate. It feels a little bit more natural that this creature has 3 claws instead of 2. That just feels more normal to me. And again, similar to Cherrim, it still has the diminutive status of being a small Pokemon, but having all the more superfluous details of a fully evolved Pokemon. And I actually do quite like that. So that's cool. This Pokemon is really good. Pretty good stuff. Sinnoh has a lot of really great Pokemon, and a lot of them that I just don't care for. But, I think the highs are much higher. Like, these are way more memorable than, these idiots. Okay. Oh, wow. There are a lot of Pokemon. Thanks for everybody sticking around. Appreciate you. Magnet Zone. I thought I was just going to be here for an hour. Magnet Zone's pretty good. You all know I like Magnemite. I think I like Magnet Zone much less than Magnemite. Excuse me. I like Magnet Zone much less than Magneton. But Magneton is still really good. It's a UFO Pokemon. It's an alien guy. There's something funky going on with Sinnoh and its magnetic field, and that makes Magnemite turn into a UFO. So, it's pretty fun. I'm into that. It's, I still think it's, Magneton was better, but, it's pretty good. I don't have that much to say about it. It appears in Legends Arceus, and I'm not a big fan of that, though, so, But I guess all the Diamond and Pearl Pokemon did, so, whatever. It is what it is. Lick-a-Lucky sucks. This guy sucks. Look at this guy, Wi-Fi. This guy's on Wi-Fi looking for a better haircut. He looks like I don't want to make any fat jokes. That's kind of mean. Like I'm fat too. But he looks like he looks like a fat joke though. That I think that's the best way I can put it. He just looks like a fat joke. He looks like the fat kid from Harry Potter, which I guess is befitting because that character is a fat joke. Because everybody knows in Harry Potter land, if you're fat, then you're just evil. You're just the worst type of person. uh, let's see. Okay, I think okay. I've already made a Dilbert joke. I've already made a Harry Potter joke. What else can we do? I don't know. I'll keep an ear out for any surprising. Oh, you know what? Actually, yeah, you're right. Yeah, this just should go in the problematic. Come on, dude. What the fuck? Yeah. So this is just a fat joke. That's pretty fucked up. Like Per Ugly's fat. There's nothing wrong with Per Ugly. Per Ugly's pretty good. And Poor Leon's fat. And Poor Leon's like the king of the ring. Um, uh, um, Obama Snow's fat. He's pretty good. This guy just looks like a fat joke. That's some pretty bad taste in 2023. Like, imagine making a fucking fat joke in 2023. Like, fucking idiot. Also, he has a dumbass haircut. At first, this was about his dumbass haircut, but the more I think about it, what the fuck, dude? Making a fat joke in 2020. Shut the fuck up, you stupid idiot. Oh, here's another fat Pokemon. But this one actually is going in the hair club for Mons. Rhyperior. So Rhydon was already pretty good. And this is just worse. Like, I like Magneton a lot better than Magnet Zone. But I will concede how that is the end of a little bit more of an arc. Like, once there was chaos, now there is order. Okay, that makes sense. What does Rhyperior add to Rhydon? It just makes Rhydon worse. And significantly worse, too. And Magnet Zone and Magneton are two kind of different beasts, I guess, pun intended. But Rhydon and Rhyperior, first off, it has the fucking nerves to call itself Rhyperior. So, there's that. Superior. I hate you. Second, it's just worse. It's just so much more details for no reason. I'm sure it's supposed to have this construction worker vibe to it. Like, it has a wrecking ball for a tail. It has that belly thing that Japanese construction workers stereotypically have. But it's just so much more complicated than Rhydon. And Rhydon was already a pretty complicated Pokemon. This is one of, perhaps the only Pokemon that passed the Daikaiju test, but managed to fuck it up so bad that they're in a low tier. It just goes to show you just can't improve on perfection. Trying to improve on it will just give you like a dumbass horn on your head, leading you into the bad hair club. Excuse me, that's what I used to call it, the hair club for Mons. Okay, actually, we're getting into the new evolution Pokemon, and I just didn't notice because I just got so fucking mad at Lickilucky. Um, okay, so Tangrowth is actually pretty cool. These are all Pokemon that in their original generation like might have either been fan favorites already or kind of sucked. So they gave them a new one. Leading to one of my favorite YouTube guys, Imported Cheese, calling many of the Johto Pokemon as a joke, Johto's finest, as a euphemism for Pokemon that are kind of shit, like Yanma. Kind of a shame that Ledian hasn't gotten any love. I love Ledian, but that Pokemon is horrible. Like, I know Pokemon is a game for little babies, and you can just beat the game by pressing the same button over and over, but you gotta be able to do damage. You gotta take their HP to 0, and Ledian has no ability to do so. Tangrowth is great. I love Tangrowth. I don't love it as much as these other new evolutions, but I actually quite like Tangrowth. He's a big, strong guy. You know, this it's really give it. You know, if they're gonna do some Jurassic Park shit with Pokemon, I appreciate that they don't just immediately jump to like dinosaur stuff. So that's pretty good. Um, yeah, Tangela used to be bigger. He was a big, chunky fella. They just used to do it different back then. He just, oh, he would also actually, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right, Maple Girl. He would pass the Daikaiju test. That's true. Um, yeah, that's definitely Patton. This guy has definitely, definitely gotten his ass beat by the Power Rangers once or twice. This dude has gotten like an ultra beam straight in the head, or whatever Ultraman does. He's gotten Rider kicked straight in the dick. Same is true for Electivire. For a long time, this was another Pokemon that I actually quite liked, and I have nostalgia because I started learning more about like PvP Pokemon in Generation 4 the hard way, and I didn't understand switching. I only understood like move sets and like stats. And Electivire was one of the more attractive Pokemon from the word go because it had access to like four generally reliable moves like Earthquake, Thunderbolt, Ice Punch, and Fire Punch. You know, those are all, you know, four really good moves. But turns out Electivire actually kind of sucks. Not because of any particular qualities that it has, but just because of the meta that it exists in. Um, it's a big Oni, I think. I think that's what it's supposed to be, and that's cool. I think that's what a Electabuzz is supposed to be too. But now it's a little bit more explicit. Pretty good dude. I quite like him. Um, I want to put him up there too, but he's going in problematic. I think he's the least problematic so far. It's those big fucking lips. Um, Actually, you know, it's two things actually. It's the big lips mostly, and its arms are supposed to be like blasters, but they have claws on them, and they look like they're supposed to be fingers, and I don't know about that. But yeah, he's not getting in because he has big lips. He has got like big old popo lips. I don't like that. I'm not necessarily offended by it, but it just looks really bad. It's not helping that if you look very closely, the space between its where its butt forehead used to be, and its eyes have like, you know, black skin, and its in between areas are also black. So, you know, I don't think it was on purpose. I'll be direct. I will cop instantly. I do not, in my heart of hearts, I don't think this was on purpose. I'm sure it was more a case of someone said, "Hey, why the fuck does Magmar have a bill? Let's make that into like, I don't know, like a mouth or something." And they weren't really sure what colors to use, and they realized that they were using some pinks, and or maybe they just wanted some pinks, and they just said, "Okay, let's just use pinks since it has pink on his body already." But it just looks bad. It looks like an idiot. Um, it's funny that Magmar, Electabuzz, and Jinx were kind of designed as like a trio of, you know, later game mono unusual type Pokemon that aren't very common, and they realized that Jinx was racist, so they kind of stopped, you know, giving, you know, Jinx any spotlight. Because, you know, there's like Smoochum, Elekid, and Magby, you know what I mean? But then they said, okay, let's stop making Jinx a Pokemon you really see very often. And then they just learned nothing and said, okay, what if fucking Magmar was a fucking Sambo mammy? So, you know, this isn't even the last Pokemon we're going to have in problematic. This is a lot of problematic Pokemon. Togekiss. Be careful who you call ugly in high school. Togekiss, actually, I'm not really that fond of Togekiss. Oh, you know what, actually, you know what? There we go. Yeah. Okay, well, you gotta remember, like, I know this is not a flattering place to put it, But let's remember Togekiss is like in like super F, I think. This is a piece of garbage. So, you know, going from like F to like a solid C, and like not even a low C, like just a really solid, like in the middle C. Okay, sure. I like that it's both a dove and an angel. It's a bird, but seems to lack a lot of bird-like features, and it has that sort of. I mean, Togekiss also had that, but now it's a little bit more explicit. It has more of a dove shape to it, yet not super overtly bird-like. Like it has no beak. It takes a lot of work to make like a bird with no beak. You know what I mean? Like, look at Magmotor. A bird with no beak just came out racist. So, pretty good. It does look like a very graceful Pokemon. I think this is supposed to be Pokemon's answer to what an angel is, and I appreciate what it is. It doesn't feel like it has too much overt religious imagery or anything like that, and that's pretty good. It finally looks like a real Pokemon that's actually kind of strong. That's pretty sick, and even retains. It even goes somewhere with like the ridiculous dumbass egg motif that Togepi and Togetic have, or Togekiss have going on. Um, yeah, pretty good stuff. Oh, and it's less human shaped than Togekiss or Togetic. Um, so there you go. Reject human, embrace monster, I guess, as a friend, obviously. Yanmega. Um, so you may be wondering why this Pokemon is not a dragon type. And that is because the Japanese term for a dragonfly is Tunbo, which does not have any dragon related puns at all. It's really cool though. This guy is pretty sick. I think this one is the one that jumped up the most to me over the years. Like a couple of years back, actually, you guys would be much higher than this, actually. Uh, yep, seems about right to me. Tunball. Okay. So, the thing I said about the kaiju test, I think Yanmega is the kaiju test. Because the air had more oxygen in it back then, which let creatures like bugs that have exoskeletons get basically significantly bigger because they could circulate more oxygen around their body. So that resulted in dragonflies that could just grab you, just pick you up and fly off with your kids. Much like living in New York, am I right, boys? Okay. Alright, I'm getting tired. Pretty good Pokemon. I like that it has a vaguely military looking feel to it. And because it does, it feels very natural that Yanmega is a common rider colored Daikaiju. Correct. There's this very military like theme for Yanmega, but it feels very natural. I think this Pokemon succeeded where Octillery and Remoraid failed, where they were supposed to have this military motif and they didn't go far enough, so I just lost what it is. But Yanmega feels pretty natural, and it makes sense to Pokemon even without the vaguely kind of military green like sniper thing going on that it has. That's pretty good. I love Yanmega. Pretty good guy. Where are we? Okay. Ooh, Sylveon and Leafeon. Two more EVs. Let's put these up higher. So I actually like Sylveon quite a bit. It's very cute. Something about this one looks very classy. I think I retained some nostalgia from like when Generation 4 was like new and hoppin', and I didn't really see like much anime stuff in the wild. And there would be like a lot of really cool like schoolgirl images of Glaceon, not as like a Pokemon, but like, you know, a human schoolgirl inspired by the Pokemon Glaceon. And had that very what's that trope called? Uh, uh, the fancy Japanese woman. Yamato, the Yamato, like very purist type. I get the feeling. I kind of wonder if that particular archetype might actually be a little bit problematic. Um, Not in the like, you know, weird racist way, but like, you know, the ideal, you know, form of a woman to be for a certain society may have some problematic implications behind it. But you know, either way, this Pokemon's pretty cool. Um, Glacier. How do I keep using "cool" to describe the ice Pokemon? Yes, I guess the Ojo too, but there is a specific name for it. Um, Leafeon is also pretty good. I don't like it as much as Glaceon though, but as a, I like them. Actually, I like them. They're the same Pokemon. They're basically the same Pokemon. They very much feel like they're complementary Pokemon in the way that Umbreon and Espeon are. But I think some of that is lost a little bit because while there is, you have to stretch the relationship between grass and ice types. There is some relationship there, like, you know, ice uh, freezes grass, I guess. But you know, you have to stretch it a little bit more. It's not as clean as the morning sun of Psychic and the midnight moon of dark types. You know what I mean? These Pokemon are actually really cool. I think they're not my favorite evolutions, but I do think that they are the best designed. Um, Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Peak Pokemon design. I wonder if part of the reason they don't make more Eevees is they said, okay, we made the best ones. There's nothing more we can do. Well, there's no way we can top ourselves now. Like, just look at Sylveon. Ooh. I mean, it's a trans rights Pokemon. That's good, but it's not bad. Just worse. Still pretty good though. I know you're trying to say from already being married. Yeah, that's true. I didn't really think about the marriage thing. I just thought of like the platonic ideal of a Japanese woman. Um, Glycosaur is really cool. Gligar fucking sucks shit. Glycosaur, again, be careful who you call ugly in high school. Glycosaur's here. He's dangerous. He's coming for you. This is a big Dracula Pokemon. He's not joking around with you. He, before he was like the Count. Now you can count on him killing you, with his giant claws. This acrobat Pokemon isn't joking around. I like that despite how scary this Pokemon looks, I think, I don't really watch Pokemon anime like that, Ash's Gligar was still a pretty gentle natured, like very shy Pokemon that doesn't really like to fight, and you know, that's very cute. I like the idea of like these big Pokemon that actually quite dislike combat. Um, Mamoswine. I actually really like Mamoswine. A lot of these are, you know, real glow ups. Um, I don't know. I don't know why so many of them seem to be of Generation 2 Pokemon outside of Generation 2 Pokemon kind of sucking. And I don't know why so many of them are tied to like being ancient. There doesn't seem to be like a. I mean, I guess there is a sort of time space theme to Sinnoh, but I don't think it's like that though. Some of these Pokemon made them feel more at home. Thank you for noticing my pun. This acrobat. Um, Before I forget, I'll say this until I'm blue in the face. I'll say this every day until I die. So Crobat. Crobat should be called Crossferatu. Crossferatu. Oh, and Krabby should be called Princer to go with Kingler. Like he's a prince with a king now. Um, yeah, Mamoswine's pretty good. I just think mammoths are really cool in general. I don't know why he's an elephant, but I do like elephants too. I kind of wish he had a tusk, but I'll take what I can get. He really looks nothing like uh, uh, plow swine or pillow swine, but he definitely looks a lot cooler. This is a Pokemon I'd love to ride around. And I think Dawn does in the anime. Um, and he obviously passes the Kaiju test. In fact, he's one of the Pokemon that really, really does. Because a lot of these, so in Legends Arceus, a lot of the Pokemon in there are, big boys that do have an alpha form that are significantly bigger than regular Pokemon. Sometimes it looks a little silly, like a really big, Badoo, I guess, for a really big Roserade, but sometimes it looks pretty natural, like a really big Mamoswine. In fact, it's kind of weird that normal Mamoswine is only like 4 feet tall. Looks like a creature that could easily be like 10 or 12 feet tall, right? Like, easily the size of a small building. Okay, Porygon Z. So you already know that Porygon is my favorite Pokemon. This one's going in S, obviously. It's more Porygon. It's more of that. I don't think it's as good as Porygon 1 or 2, but I do think it's still really good. I like that it's a ROM hacked Pokemon. It evolves by the dubious disc. Its speed goes drastically up, and so does its special attack, but the rest of its stats go down because it's being overclocked, and that's pretty cool. I don't like how it seems like it's in pain. Its motions are a little bit erratic, and that kind of makes me sad. I hope Porygon Z is doing okay. So, there we go. This guy's pretty good. He's getting by a little bit on yesteryears and times gone by of Porygon. But there you go. Pretty good dude. Actually, he's not that good. Not that good. It's not that good. There we go. Still good though. Like, this is all still S. Like, this is all the cream of the crop in Pokemon. So, Gallade. I don't hate Gallade as much as you think. He's okay. I have no issue with Gallade. I like that they try to what? Hold on. Maybe I don't like Gallade. This is for people too insecure about a male Gardevoir, I think. I think this is a Pokemon made specifically for people who are insecure about male Gardevoir, when Pokemon probably don't really have genders as we understand them to begin with. But for what it is, it seems pretty cool. Has a big mohawk. That's pretty fun. It's kind of hard to distinguish what are swords in Pokemon, because they're not supposed to have, like, actual swords. But it is cool what they do, and I'm very into this thing, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't use it on my team, but... Oh, problematic. Well, why problematic? Why is it going to problematic? Well, I guess if the origin... Okay, you know what? Yeah, that's actually a good point. It's going to problematic. I don't think it's as problematic. I think this might actually be the least problematic. Yeah, okay. So I think this is the least problematic. And I don't think at the time this would have been a bad Pokemon. At the time, it's probably okay. But the times are different now. And in 2023, You can just have a boy Pokemon wear a dress, and that's okay. In 2006, they're feeling a little insecure about it. They've gone on airdies.com way too many times and typed in Gardevoir, and then realized that the Gardevoir is male, and they felt really weird about it, so they had to go back and make a man Gardevoir just in case. And I understand that, and I, like I understand, like, the our gender brains back then just weren't as developed as our giga IQ brains now, right? We were up here thinking, oh yeah, there's like two-ish genders, right? When now we know that there were at least 150 or more genders to see. Um, so it's not really Gallade's fault that it's problematic. In fact, I think its design is pretty solid. Like, it's not like these other guys where I look at it and go, "Oh God." In fact, if anything, I think Gallade is as a Pokemon, it's just fine. Like, I can even kind of see almost like a little bit of a chess motif going on, like a king and a queen, I guess, or like a princess and a knight or something like that. But I think the origin point, because that had to be the origin point of Gallade, where someone just felt really insecure because they really wanted to bone Gardevoir. But that wouldn't be an issue if they didn't make Gardevoir a lady Pokemon. If these two Pokemon came out today and had the same kind of thing going on, I actually wouldn't really mind it as much. In fact, that's why I don't really have an issue with Mega Gardevoir and Mega Gallade, because I think they do kind of capitalize on the kind of king and queen motif, or like the princess and knight motif, I guess. But as is some kind of little the insecurity is palpable. Exactly. So okay, you know what? I'm gonna leave them in problematic for now, with the understanding of Mega Gallade, who reapproaches this in like a less insecure way. That's okay. And even if it's not coming from necessarily like a horny point of view, I can still basically understand someone not knowing that there are at least 150 or more genders. So they thought it was an issue that there isn't a boy version of Gallade, I guess, and thought it'd be kind of dumb because Gardevoir is a fan favorite Pokemon, so it would be they can't really pull the bee Pokemon thing and just say, oh, it can't evolve, because people already like Kirlia. So you might just port a Kirlia from your last game up to this one, and now you're telling me it can't evolve? What's up with that? Oh, I'm angry now. So it was a Pokemon designed to fill a uh-oh, I almost said something bad there. Anyway, here's another problematic Pokemon. This one's ooh, 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 okay. So Gallade is. Oh wait. I'm doing that in reverse. These are in order of how not problematic I think they are. Okay. So Gallade is a product of its time. He's okay. Magmotor is a bit of an accident. Unfortunate. Lopunny is pretty bad, but my personal interpretation leads me to think that it's okay-ish, I guess, but its fans should be wary. Lickalucky is a J.K. Rowling joke. Chatot has dropped a hard R, so, And then there's Probopass. What the fuck am I supposed to say about this thing? Look at this. Look at it. I feel like I need to delete my fucking browser history, like, just looking at this. I'm sure it's supposed to be an Easter Island head. I've heard people say, oh, it's supposed to be a Mr. Potato Head. This looks like a racist depiction of a Jewish person. This is... What the fuck, man? I hate this. This is the worst Pokemon. In fact, you know what? I'd rather don't white people at home, don't quote me on this one. I think I'd rather have Chatot being a mindless bird saying a slur than look at this thing. Ugh. Maybe for some of these like racist Pokemon, Nintendo, just take another shot at them. You know what I mean? Just retcon them. Just figure out something else to do with them. I don't think anyone's gonna really miss Probopass, except for like Senkaku complex users. They're gonna be really mad. They're gonna say they decided to change Probopass. They're all powerful. They being Jewish people. I don't even want to look at this thing anymore. I hate this thing. Now onto a good Pokemon. The Grim Reaper himself. He's here. He's ready to kill you. Actually, where did I put Dusclops? I think this is actually worse than Dusclops. It probably is supposed to be a Groucho Marx parody, but like, this looks like a really racist depiction of a Jewish dude. Also, Groucho Marx has glasses. This has no glasses. I think like the glasses are like a really big part of the Groucho Marx thing, right? Gotta be wearing like little glasses. Actually, if Probopass had a more overt, no, not a top hat. Maybe that'd be pretty bad. If it had glasses, and it was very clear that the glasses and the nose were like magnets that attach onto it, I think it might go an S. That would actually be pretty good, but this guy is just a big nose guy with a little hat, and that's a little sus. I don't know if it's on purpose. I don't necessarily think. Yeah, it didn't go far enough. They didn't go far enough, and that made them just goof up entirely. Yeah, I don't know. How does get by the censors? Who looked at this and said, "Yeah, there's nothing racist about this. Nothing wrong at all." Anyway, where was I? Where did I put the last Pokemon? Oh yeah, Dusknoir. So this is where I found out about how to pronounce the word noir. Pronounce that boy Nori or something like that for many years. I like that it opens up its belly. Oh god. Oh no. The police, they know. They know I'm ranking Pokemon. Dang. Hope that's not picking up on the mic. Uh-oh. Sorry, folks. I wouldn't really say anything too interesting with Dusknoir, though. He's a big spooky ghost. He's a bit of a mummy. I like Dusclops more because he's more of a mummy. But you know, Dusknoir's cool. He looks a little bit too edgy, and I think that makes him worse. I don't like his long head, but he's still pretty good. He's a big, scary Pokemon. Definitely not the kind of Pokemon I would want to fight. If he was on my team, I would feel he could definitely, kick somebody's ass. So that's what I'm looking for. And again, passing the Daikaiju test. And then there's Frostlass. You would think it would go on problematic, but I think it's going to go up much higher. This is the respectable Gallade, right? Where someone had a good idea for a Pokemon and managed to retrofit. Dusknoir was a fantastic villain in the Mystery Dungeon series. That's what I've heard. I've heard that Dusknoir is a great and very effective villain. I should finish totally legitimately hacking my 3DS and actually play those games. Duskull is cuddly, and that's part of the reason why I like it. It's both cuddly and like badass, and I think that's a great place for Pokemon to be. This one is tilted a little bit more of like the badass, and I think as a whole, as an entity for all of Sinnoh, we have a little bit too many cool Pokemon. And I guess I'll get my wish in the next generation where they definitely fix that, but And maybe not for the best, but for now we have Frostlass. Frostlass is a good idea of taking a Pokemon that kind of already exists and finding a good way to gender it up and finding, like, some pretty good reasons to gender it because it's based on a Yukiona. Oh, yeah, see? Yeah, thank you, chat. Yeah, it's based on a Yukiona. I think Mawile is also sort of based on a Yukiona, but uh, it it felt like a bit of a stretch. I'm not gonna lie. This one is a little bit more clear in its intentions, and you can still it has that mysterious core quality that I like in Pokemon, like you know Shelter and stuff, where there's something mysterious inside of it. That's pretty good. I think I've said this last video, but I think this may be the last time we see that quality in Pokemon for a long time. It has a jaw mouth thing going on, but still feels like a very feminine Pokemon without like being very like curvy or anything. I think this is what Jinx should have been. It should have been a spooky ghost that has some red motifs going on, that has a vaguely human shape, but not human enough to where you'd ever mistake it for an actual person. Or maybe you might if you, like, it feels really snowy outside, and, oh, there's a human-shaped person, please help me. And they welcome you inside, and then bam, it's a monster. This is just better Jinx. Pretty good stuff. There we go. Alright, we're closing in on, well, I guess Rotom has kind of been rejected from its legendary status. I don't know if it's ever counted as legendary, but there's only one in Diamond and Pearl and has a special event associated with it, so I kind of always assumed it was legendary, but it seems Pokemon lore has kind of decided that Rotom... Oh, okay, so I guess Mawile's more so based on the Futa Kuchiona. Okay, I thought those two were the same, depending on what parts of Japan you're talking about, where you meet a woman in a snowy area and she welcomes you inside, and then bam, it's a trap, she's a monster. But yeah, Rotom is an interesting Pokemon to me because I don't like it. However, they're all going in A, I guess. All of them and their little buddies. Rotom and its boys. Mm-hmm. And I have a good reason for why they're all going in A. I don't like it more than. Hold on. Let me. Jinx is based on like a more of a mountain hag. Should have gone harder on the concept. Yeah, definitely probably should have stayed away from like black person. In fact, I think that's a pretty universal a design for a Pokemon. We should just keep in mind for the future. If I'm making a Pokemon, rule number one, just don't make like a black dude, I guess. Like a black woman. So Rotom. So in Diamond and Pearl, Rotom was a Pokemon that you find chilling out inside of the Forest Chateau, which I think has a fun Japanese name of like Forest Yokan or something like that. And there's some cool lore going on there. And there's some cool wordplay where Forest Yokan, like the jelly snack, sounds a lot like Forest Manor, Forest Yokan. But you find Rotom in there, and it's a special encounter, right? It's doing all sorts of spooky poltergeist stuff, right? And the world of Pokemon, and I think this has been retconned a little bit, but the world of Pokemon seems to be evolving in real time with our actual real world, I guess. So, it's been like 10 plus years since Diamond and Pearl, and it's been 10 plus years in the video game land too, just like in real life. And in that time, we have gone from Rotom being a poorly understood spooky poltergeist, hanging out with the lads, Spiritomb and Ghastly and Haunter and Gengar and all that stuff, spooking it up, haunting your refrigerator, making your lights go on and off and spooking it up over there, to being a Pokemon that's actually integrated into your day-to-day life. Like Rotom is literally a ghost in the machine. Like there's a whole big old pun on that. Because Rotoms in modern Pokemon, they live in your phone, they live in your TVs, they live in your Pokedex. They can actually communicate with you in ways that most Pokemon cannot do, because they're able to possess objects. So Rotoms just sort of live inside of all of your electronics. And that is such an interesting leap in technology to happen over the years, where us in the real world, we went from like dumb phones or whatever to smartphones. And in Pokemon, they've gone from like dumb phones to Rotom phones. So that's pretty cool. Now let's individually sort these out. So the regular one is just pure plasma. That's pretty good. There's a fan one. I think I like the fan one the most, actually. And each of these have like a different associated element with them as well. I think the grass one has like the most goblin vibes to it, so that's pretty good. And that's really good. And there's no reason why they can't just make more Rotom forms if they need to. They just possess something else. But this is a very unique Pokemon that can actually communicate with people about as fluently as another human could, because they can just hop in your phone and tell you words. In fact, I think there have been Rotoms that are actual characters that have snappy dialogue. So we now know 100% that at least some Pokemon are capable of abstract thought. So make of that what you will. Okay, so we have the three fairies, the three babies. So individually they're just Mew at home, but as a team, I think they're pretty good. Okay, so shit, what is the pink one represent? Uxie, Azulf, and Metsprit. So I like that one of them is constantly sleeping, and that's the more defensive one. One of them looks extra curious. I think that's Azulf. Um, yeah, the poltergeists have discovered consumerism. Uh, um, yeah, one of them looks actively curious. He's checking things out. You can tell by his posture. And the other one just seems to be weighing out the situation, seeing what's going on there. So I do like that there are three different fairies that represent three different concepts. They look a little bit too close to Mew, but I just do kind of accept that, maybe they're just Pokemon that just kind of. I mean, we already know that there just is convergent evolution among Pokemon, so I guess it makes sense that there's some level of convergent evolution among deities as well. Actually, I'm gonna put these guys in A, actually. Because I don't think that they hold their own on their own. But I do like that. If I remember right, I think they do have some association with dreams. They have or maybe they're feelings. They have association with feelings, and I kind of like Pokemon that represent not so much primordial, elements or things like that, but they just represent feelings, and something about that feels very quaint. I kind of wish they went a little bit farther with them. But I do like that they just said forget it and just gave them all the same base body with different heads. I'm sure some of that was just to save a little bit of time in designing these three Pokemon and making sure they're all sort of in parity with each other. And I guess you can argue that's, well, you're getting lazy. But, I think it basically works. My only issue is that they look a little bit too close to Mew. Maybe they should have had a secondary feature to go along with what they do, like I don't know, since they're fairies, maybe it's okay to give them like a little magic wand. But I know Pokemon design is like very, very reluctant to give these things tools, but I think it's okay for a legend. It's okay. Okay, Dialga and Palkia. Um, so the thing I said about the dogs or the apparently the legendary beasts, people make a really big sting about them being legendary beasts, is they're supposed to be dragons, and I'm just not seeing it. They look like mechs to me. I respect what they are, but I'm not sure what they are. They're supposed to be dragons. I see that they're some type of animal. I'm just not seeing it. One of them controls time, one of them controls space. Again, I'm really not seeing it. Maybe if they were a little bit more on the nose, how they are with other Pokemon, I'd be okay with it. Like if one of them had like more of a space pattern to it, and the other one had more of a like a clock pattern or something. Um, um, so you may be wondering like why Palkia is called that. Like Palkia doesn't really sound like pearl, and that's because of Japanese pronunciation. Paru, not pearl. Parukia, not not Pearlkia. Um, actually, I guess I'm just becoming a budget imported cheese. I guess. Um, so apparently in Japanese Pokemon fandom for because I guess the Generation 4 people are like just as well, the Generation like 4 and 5 people are basically as passionate as us, old Gen 1 heads. And because of the way Japanese pronunciation works, Diamond and Pearl was typically called Daipa, like Diamondo, Paru, Daipa. So they're sometimes called diaper babies. or diaper kids, like diaper kids. That's funny. Also, the people that grew up with Diamond and Pearl are like adults, and I hate that. But these two guys are, I think, well, actually, you know what? They are 50 feet tall. I think I'll put them at the very low end of S. These are two big dudes. I could definitely see Godzilla brawling with them. They do look very metal. Like they look like there's a guy in that suit. um, so I'll give them credit, but this is a very tenuous S. This is very tenuous. This is once again um, based on looking like 50-foot guys. So you just barely get an S today, okay? Also, do pearls have like any association with like the color purple or the color pink? I have a lot of respect for their origin form, but holy shit, these things are. The origin forms are so ugly. I have a lot of respect for their bold design choice. I don't even know how to. They're a lot to process. Um, the origin form Dialga looks like that fucking part of SpongeBob where Squidward chokes to death and he almost eats a fork. That's him. I respect what it is. It looks hideous, but it does look very ancient and powerful. But I do hate it. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't even want to. I don't want to think about it. Horrible. Let me get a Heatran. I think this is the first one where I said, okay, it's too many goddamn legends. It's too many. What? I don't know. Is that even legendary? This looks like some idiot. It looks like a molten rubber duck, but with the duck part removed. Like, what am I even looking at here? What is this? I don't know. Am I sounding ignorant? Is this supposed to be based on something? I don't know. I'm gonna move on before someone corrects me and says, "Oh, well, actually, it's known as the Pulgasari from." No. We already had that in Generation 3, and it was uh, Aggron. I don't know. This guy kind of sucks. Yeah, exactly. No one likes Heatran. Like, with every Pokemon, I feel like it's somebody's favorite Pokemon. I don't think Heatran is anybody's favorite Pokemon. I really don't. Um, Regigigas is pretty rad. So I think this is the first, I think, normal type legendary Pokemon. I know that Regigigas is a meme because of its slow start ability. So it's basically horrible for 5 turns, which is in Pokemon terms an eternity. And if you switch out, the turn counter starts over. Like its speed and attack are both halved, which are the two most important stats to have. And it's one of the very few Pokemon that can't learn Protect because I guess they don't want you to stall out. Um, However, I do like the idea of like these prime material Pokemon having this master who is sort of beyond elemental affinities, so he's a normal type, who's much bigger than the other ones. I like the novelty, but it's a very giant space sweep nowhere situation. Do you mean Regigigas or do you mean Heatran? Or do you mean both? I think both is respectable. um, yeah, so I like that Regigigas is a prime material Pokemon. Like he's just made out of like some alien matter that is beyond our understanding of matter. Yet also, it's not inherently a hostile material, so it just ends up being a normal type. I'm sure if there is a way mechanically to make this thing typeless, maybe that would be a cool way to go with the type of Pokemon. But it has moss growing on it because it's so ancient, and it's just been kind of chilling out. It's a pretty cool dude. I like Regigigas quite a bit. The slow start ability kind of sucks, but again, it passes the it passes the Daikaiju test, and also if you I think in the final opening for Pokemon, yes to Heatran, but kind of both a little bit. Yeah, that's true. Regigigas isn't quite as out of nowhere, but you do just kind of walk in and just kind of get it. But you just have to know how to get it already. I appreciate that there is a little bit of a ceremony to get Regigigas, but the ceremony is way too goddamn complicated. Uh, yeah, he's a pretty good Pokemon. Conceptually, one of my favorites. I do tend to like these trio master Pokemon a lot. Okay, we're closing in on the end. I say as there are like 10 more Pokemon looking at me. Um, okay, this one, I'm actually going to keep this one with, these today. This isn't a retroactively added one. This was just in Platinum, so he's okay. Giratina kind of looks like an elephant to me. Um, Ancient Era Mecha. He is an ancient mecha. That's pretty good. I've kind of been on a giant robot kick recently. Um, so maybe that's engendered me to Regigigas a little bit more than usual. But it certainly hasn't made me think any more of Giratina. It's another Pokemon that... Okay. So not all Daikaiju are made equally. Sometimes you're just an idiot in the rubber suit who is just one of exactly 49 to 52 dudes that Ultraman is gonna beat the shit out of in the next year or so. And that's kind of the vibe I get from Giratina. It's supposed to be a dragon, but I don't see how it's supposed to be a dragon. It's supposed to be a phantom. I can definitely see that. I think it's supposed to be Pokemon's version of the devil, but there's already a Pokemon version of the devil, and we're about to talk about it in just a second. So what's the point of having this guy? He has 6 legs. That's cool. He's a big, ominous looking dude. He does seem like a big boss Pokemon. He has a little crown going on. He's supposed to be Pokemon's version of Antimatter, but I don't know. It feels like a stretch. I don't know. He's a little overcomplicated. The origin form is much better. It does have more dragon-like properties to it, and it does look a little bit more overtly villainous. And the gray color on both versions of Giratina kind of do make me think of like rotting flesh, kind of like in Theros and Magic the Gathering, where the zombies there are have gray skin, and it's not really so much rotting, but cold. I will say that the whole distorted world stuff, if you ignore that the games just kind of chug, um, some of the coolest shit in Pokemon, just in general. Um, I like that it has tendrils, I guess. I don't think it needed tendrils, though. I guess it does look pretty sinister, though. And this is a Pokemon who's supposed to look pretty sinister. And I also like that it's the thing, the crown on its head, has formed into a more overtly snake-like shape as well, with like a golden, almost like a golden rib cage almost. And that's pretty cool. Um, I don't know if they're like, if Sinnoh has any. Okay, you know what? I think maybe by the time they hit this idea, it was too late and they couldn't go back. Maybe if time is represented by diamonds and space is represented by pearls, I guess I would be okay with the idea of like death, um, or the concept of like entropy or ending in general being represented by gold, and that's why this Pokemon has like a bunch of gold accessories. Like there's something very grim and macabre about it. Like, this is also, can kind of serve as like a Grim Reaper Pokemon. Going back to the whole Sharon, the underworld boatsman needing golden coins to take you, to the hereafter, I guess, or to take you across the river Styx. Maybe there's some of that with Giratina. And I'm sure, yeah, you're right, Maple Girl. It's definitely supposed to be Pokemon's version of a great old one, but um, this Pokemon has motivation, and that motivation is just to be a bad boy. And that kind of makes me think significantly less of it. Like, maybe if it was more of like a blind old one, I would think a little bit more highly of it, where it just sort of is a malevolent entity that exists. It doesn't really have a agenda in mind, but if you summon it, I hope you're ready. Similar to how, to my understanding, basically every single Sonic game ends. And Diamond and Pearl does have that, except for that we know for a fact that, Giratina is Pokemon's version of, like, the devil, and it was sealed away, and yada yada yada. And they've overtly stated this is the antimatter Pokemon. And I have a lot of questions about that, and I think my interpretation of this thing representing, like, death or entropy or ending conceptually, and, gold having some association with death, I don't know. I think that one might ring a little truer of what they were shooting for. So what I'm saying is Pokemon should just fire all their lore guys. Just hire me to do all of this. Oh, is there some complicated Japanese mythos that only makes sense if you're a natively born Japanese person? Don't worry. I'm on it. I'll just do a little bit more homework. uh, okay. All right. Well, let's hurry up and wrap this one up. I'm going to put you in B. I think this is the lowest legend, but that's okay. So this is a Pokemon that represents dreams, I think. Specifically good dreams and healing. We have a Pokemon that represents time and space. I know this thing is supposed to represent dreams, but it seems like another space Pokemon. I guess it makes more sense if I think of it as a lesser deity Pokemon. I don't like that it's a little too on the nose with the moon motif. There are just too many moons. But it does seem like a very dreamy Pokemon, and I'm okay with that. I don't like how its two front crescents kind of look like hands. I'm sure this Pokemon was featured in a movie at some point. This is about the time where I really fell out with Pokemon, so if it was featured in a movie, I don't know, but I hope that it doesn't use those things as arms, but it probably does. I also don't like how it looks like a duck, and I don't like its hair. It has Karen hair. It has some let me speak to your manager, but in the Jetsons hair. Okay, that's Cresselia. Oh, also it's a wandering Pokemon. I don't like that. I guess there's a fun pun about chasing your dreams, but that feels a little bit abstract, and I don't necessarily know if that works the same in Japanese. Okay, we're almost home. Oh shit, there are two Pokemon between Darkrai and this one. Okay. Uh this is a Sea Angel Pokemon. I'm gonna put it in the sea. Sea Angel belongs in the sea to me. Manaphy. Manaphy belongs in the sea. Um I'm really not sure why these are two different Pokemon. I think there's some lore in the game Pokemon Rangers with this guy. I've heard that game was really good, but something about it felt a little bit too cynical, where you had to buy the game to get Manaphy, I think, and that seemed a little whack. Happy I didn't, because if I did, I would have gotten the game used. And apparently, in Pokemon Rangers, you can only get Manaphy from a fresh copy. So once you get the Manaphy once, even if you erase your game, you cannot get it again. And that seems really, really whack to me. So if I had gotten it, it would have been used. So I'm happy I didn't do it. I kind of want to put Neff, kind of want to put in problematic just on that principle alone. Actually, you know what? You're gonna be the least problematic Pokemon, actually. Um, because I just remembered this is so you can only get both these guys in Generation 4 if you buy another Pokemon game, and you can only get them now if you own two Pokemon games. Well, that's half true. So, in when you're playing Legends Arceus, the game kind of prompts you for a clue, and there's nothing in the game indicating what the clue is. However, if you play the very good peak fiction game, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, two $60 turds you can shove in your DS right now, or you can shove in your Nintendo Switch right now. Um, the games will look you in the eye and go, "Oh yeah, I'll tell you some lore that you can use to access these guys in the other game." And that's, come on, dude. Like, if you're gonna tell me to, at least when they used to tell us to buy more Pokemon games, we could rely on those games being good. Now it could be anything. It could be yeah. If you buy Pokemon Red, you can get Pokemon Turd version free, and by free I mean $60. So there we go. You're going in problematic. Sorry. The real score is like a C though. They don't really seem very legendary to me. One of them can go in B, but the other one has to go in C. They're way too similar, and one of them comes with an egg. Don't really know why Manaphy's have eggs. Darkrai. Darkrai's a little edgy, but that's okay. This guy seems like Pokemon's version of like the devil. I mean, I like Dusknoir more as the devil. Seems about right. So this is the Nightmare Pokemon, and he does seem a little bit too edgy. I'm not gonna lie. So the Darkrai that we have, it's probably a B Pokemon if I'm being totally honest with you. The Darkrai in my head that kind of represents a lot of the same ideas that Giratina represents. I like that one better. And they both are red Pokemon with this sort of lighter gray element to their body. So maybe there is some association with the color red and like black and gray with Pokemon and like death. Not necessarily, and I cannot stress enough, not necessarily the act of killing, but the act of, the concept of death. But that's not the case because Darkrai is more of the nightmare Pokemon to go along with Cresselia's dream Pokemon. And I don't like that they don't look like each other. I prefer when two dueling Pokemon sort of have some parallels with each other, but I just don't see that with Cresselia and Darkrai. But I do like Darkrai well enough. It barely looks like a Pokemon. I'll be 100% with you. And again, this is definitely a guy, like a few other one of these, who should probably just have a Grim Reaper Scythe, but he is what he is, and I appreciate that. Has green eyes. Also, apparently Ash lost this rando guy who just happened to have Darkrai in the anime. For no reason. He's just some dude. He just has Darkrai for no reason. There we go. Okay. Shyman is a hedgehog. Pretty good. I like Shyman. This one seems like a kind of Mew-ish Pokemon, I guess, where he's kind of hanging out. He's sitting around. He's vibing. He's a very gentle guy. You don't even know he's supposed to be legendary. He's more of a sacred Pokemon than a powerful one. Maybe this thing is worshipped. Maybe this Pokemon is so ancient that people, its holy nature far predates humanity, and it's actually, more of a nature spirit at this point. You know what I mean? So I think that's pretty good. Shyman's very cute. Looks like a realistic hedgehog. And then there's its sky form. That's, I don't really like that one. I think you can be the final entry in the hair club for Mons. Dusknoir is a Psychopomp. Oh shit, yeah, you're right. Darkrai gives more boss of the Grim Reaper vibe. Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, we're Dusknoir feels like the kind of Pokemon that understands that, hey, Saints and Tyrants both die eventually. It's time to go. And, while Dusknoir does have certain feelings about its duty, it does it without fault. There's no negotiating with Dusknoir. Dusknoir might even agree with you that, hey, it's pretty messed up that you had to die right now. But we all gotta go sometime, and today, it is you. While on the other hand, Darkrai gives me more the Death Elemental, where there is no conversation. It's just a hunter laying in wake. It's like that, the end quote from Persona 3 when you die. Death is not a hunter unbeknownst to its prey. Okay, so Shyman's Skyform looks like... Okay, so regular Shyman looks like a hedgehog. Sky Shyman looks like Sonic the Hedgehog. And I don't like it. I don't like that. It looks like a little brave little dude, but I don't like its hair. I don't like that it's standing up now. I think it really undermines that it's a, like, it's supposed to be like a holy spirit Pokemon. It's like very humble in nature. It's certainly not the worst, but I really don't like this thing. Its real score, if I didn't want to make the Hair Club for Mons joke, it's probably C. Probably low C. No, it's like solid mid C. Probably like right about here is the real score it would get, but for now, it is the king of the Hair Club, and I think for a legendary Pokemon, it's appropriate. Also has this little cape going on. Maybe there's some lore with Shyman that I don't know about. Actually, okay, hear me out, right? So this Pokemon, I think, changes forms with an item. And maybe it's more anthropomorphized features and qualities about it. Come from, like, the influence of humans. So it takes on, like, instead of just being like a nature spirit, just kind of out there doing its thing, it represents, some more concepts that we sometimes associate with nature needing. Like, nature needs bravery to, stand up for it, for example. Or nature needs to be bold to stand against things that want to destroy it, etc. And I guess if that's the lore for Shyman, then I guess it can go up to, like here. I still don't like it. like give it more of like a little bit more of a Captain Planet vibe. But I really I don't think that's the case. I don't know what the lore for this guy is. So he'll be the king of the hair club. Yeah, you know, then there's Arceus. Um, we're gonna go for another hour because there are 18 different and I have very different thoughts about all 18 versions. No, I'm joking. Arceus is really good. It's really cool. I'm not sure why it's a horse, but that's fine with me. Um, this is a creator deity of Pokemon. I don't think Pokemon should have had a creator deity. I think I was comfortable with them just kind of existing. Because then that makes me beg the question every time Arceus is introduced into the plot. Uh, why is Arceus here? And why does Arceus not deal with this situation itself? I guess in the game Legends Arceus, this is more, you don't so much catch Arceus. Arceus allows you to wield a piece of it. And that does make a lot more sense. Arceus, you know, just is a literal god. The hoof of God. Do they call it the hoof of God? That would be pretty cool if it was like, you know, using Arceus is called using the hoof of God. That'd be pretty cool. Where'd the comment go? Why'd the comment disappear? You didn't delete it, did you? Maybe YouTube's just being weird. Right. Yeah, Arceus is pretty good. I'm not going to put it at the top, but I like what it's about. I don't think Pokemon needed this type of creator deity, honestly. I'm okay with having primordial Pokemon, similar to like Dark Souls, where there was no one time it all started, but Mew just kind of always was. Arceus kind of always was. Dialga and Palkia just kind of always were. And then other stuff began to happen. But no, we have a creator deity for Pokemon. And I kind of wish he was the creator deity of Pokemon and not the universe. Because then I have to ask, what is the point of creating both humans and Pokemon? Is there some other link? It really gums up a lot of the lore that I like to believe about Pokemon. And it's introduced, but we're also not really going to get any answers to any of this either. So I kind of wish they didn't introduce it because it, you know, creates a lot of other implications. I like the idea of technology has evolved so far that we are now able to replicate certain elements of literally God purely using science. With Silvally, I think is what it's called. However, there is just something indomitable about the human spirit and the Pokemon spirit working together, where even just pure science just cannot fully replicate this. Like, you need some type of spark, some type of heart to, you know, fully unlock the full potential of people and Pokemon, and that's why it evolves by friendship. But I guess we'll hit that when we talk about generation like 8 or whatever generation that was. I think it was 8. All right, so we did it, lads. We made it. That's all of them. We've caught them all. We've ranked them all. We got the new forms. We'll talk about that some other day. We got Pikachu at home. We got some really problematic Pokemon, ranging from sexism, fat phobia, racism, saying slurs. We got Heatran, whatever the hell that is. Like a literal who. Rounding out F. We got a lot of Pokemon with weird haircuts. And then we got a badass over here, and we got a lot of cute diminutive Pokemon that are also evolution, so that's pretty good. I don't know when I'll do Generation 5. Maybe next weekend. I don't know. I don't even know if I'll do a stream. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Maybe I'll do it next Friday. I don't know. But we did it. I guess Empoleon is the best Generation 4 Pokemon. We did it. I think it's appropriate to really be the counter cultural heroes we are, and ask the question: what is a god? What's a king to a god, and what's a god to a non-believer? I thought that was like a great old quote. That's apparently a fucking Kanye West quote. Um, yeah. So if you like this shit, go ahead and subscribe. Just go ahead and like that video. Do all that stuff. Watch those other tier lists that I did. This is the longest one. I think Generation 4 might have had the most Pokemon that I have feelings about. I feel like Generation 5 is going to be a little easier because it's going to be all nope, next, nope, next, nope, next. Yeah, Empoleon, we did it. Empoleon, lads, rise the fuck up. Best Generation 4 Pokemon. One of the best Pokemon, period. No offense, other two starters. You guys are great. But, the difference between, like, Empoleon and, well, the difference between, like, Empoleon to Dusknoir is basically paper thin. Like, they're all great, but Empoleon, obviously the king, clearly the greatest one. But the difference, just paper thin. If you ask me the same question tomorrow, I might go, actually, Tortoria is a little better. Actually, Monferno, well, I'm not going to say Monferno. But, yeah, we're reclaiming the what is a god to a non-believer lyrics, though. Great. Well, we all had a fun time. I hope your favorite Pokemon was ranked correctly, and I really hope any Lucario haters in the chat feel vindicated.